Yes, man. After a short hiatus, I have returned. Outlaw Radio has returned. Welcome to Outlaw Radio Live on a Monday night. My name is Kevin Barnes. I am the host of Outlaw Radio. I am the architect of the People's Network. I am the founder of the People's News Network. So if you are a member of that group, shout out to you. If you're tuning in, if you're a regular viewer, listener, what have you, and you've missed the show, over the past week. It's been a week. Shout out to you. Welcome back. We are going to do what it is that we do with Outlaw Radio. Once again, let's just say back for the first time. I am very happy to be here tonight. There's a lot to talk about. People have flooded my inbox. Shout out to those people who have said, Kev, where's the show? We are missing. We're missing out. We need to get it back in. This is Outlaw Radio, man. So welcome back to the show. Like I said, I'm extremely happy to be here. This is easily the highlight of my week most of the time. So Outlaw Radio live tonight. Should be a great show. We've been off a week, and you would think a week's not that long, but so much is happening in our country. So much is going on from a socio-political aspect. It's just never a loss of content. It's never a loss of things to talk about, especially in the foundational Black American community. So if you want to get involved in the conversation, the number is 262-202-5131, 262-202-5131. We also have a chat room, which is always active. The only thing that I usually ask of people when we do Outlaw Radio is just to share the show as much as possible. Share it in groups, share it on your own platform. I'm always happy when I see someone share the show on their own page. It lets me know that you support what we do. We have a YouTube page as well, which I just fail to promote like I should. YouTube is a deep dive. I want to take more advantage of YouTube, but I'm just kind of taking my time with it. People say, man, how much time are you gonna take? As long as it takes, right? As long as it takes. Normally, we're on Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, until whenever it is that we cut the machine off, because that's just how we do it. Some shows go long, some shows are shorter, and I can't think of the last time we had a short show. So if you can remember one, please remind me. But like I said, man, it's socio-political conversation. It is foundational Black American conversation. People ask me, what do you talk about? I say, Black people shit. That's what we talk about on Outlaw Radio. It gets heavy. It's not all politics. Sometimes it's hip-hop. Hip-hop is still very important to me, even though, a lot of young people would like to boot us out, right? And like, if you're my age, right, like we are really defined as the hip-hop generation. You never thought you'd get to a point where people would tell you were too old for hip hop, right? Like, and so I always laugh when I hear this notion of, young people saying, "Oh, heads," and they disregard, the music that came along a long time ago, and the contribution that was made by the artists that, we supported. I just would tell young people all the time, had it not been for my generation supporting hip hop, going to concerts, going to movies, buying apparel, buying albums, you wouldn't have anything to listen to right now. So before you, as a young person, all them old heads and old people, before you dismiss the old school, I want you to know you wouldn't have what you have now had it not been for us. And even for us, there was a point where we came and kind of looked at the rappers who had, the old school and said, oh, look at these old heads. But we had to realize that had those rappers not come along, we wouldn't have gotten to the place that we were. So we'll talk about all that amongst a bunch of other things tonight. Mr. Carter, you in the building tonight. How you doing, my brother? Welcome back.
Hey, I'm all right, man. Hey, if it wasn't for us, they'd have a whole bunch of Eminem to listen to.
If that, right? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's where they want to take hip hop.
Well, you know what? I think they want to take it even in terms of quality. I think Eminem does present a certain level of quality when you hear his music. His message is
Well,
not pro-black.
yeah,
But you know, I agree with you in that they want it to be mindless. When we think of Eminem, the way I process it is his music is kind of mindless because it doesn't speak
I
to
was thinking,
anything for us.
right, right. I was thinking more whitewash hip hop.
Okay, okay. You know, I don't know. I don't know that Eminem's whitewash. I think he's kind of controversial, but I get what you're saying. I like the whole pop thing of making, you know, rappers
They
pop
would love,
stars. And,
right. They would love to make it look like it's a white boy running hip hop.
man, in 2024, we even saw whether or not we created the music was at question. So you know, was in question. So it's always a constant everyday thing with us. But I wouldn't trade being a black man for anything in the world. My chat room's popping. How y'all doing, man? Dion, welcome back, man. He said, man, is that Kev? It's only been a week, Dion. It's only been a week. Ruben Anderson, how you doing, my brother? How you doing? How you doing? He said, it's me. It's me, motherfucker. How you doing today? This is Dion. Um, oh man, I love it. I love it. He said, man, I see you had some fuck niggas in the People's Network. We'll get to that. We'll talk about the People's Network tonight. I just shouted them out to start. Anthony McGee said, I was in junior high when Rapper's Delight came out. My teacher said, it's a fad. It'll be gone in 2 to 3 years, LOL. You were in junior high when Rapper's Delight came out. I was not even in school yet when Rapper's Delight came out. It was 1978, man. I was 3 years old. Yeah. They did. They said it was a fad. They said it wouldn't last, right? So much for that, right? We just hit 50 years old, 50 plus years old. And it's not necessarily what we recognized it as, but it's not what those individuals who were fans when Rapper's Delight came out, it's not what they recognize either. And our music kind of evolved during my generation. I'm a 90s dude. Like I cut my teeth in the 90s. I cannot lie. I grew up in the 90s. You know what I
It's
mean?
crazy to them.
Right. They was looking at it like, what the hell is going on?
Our
What
music is
happened?
crazy to them.
Yeah. So you always have to be willing to grow. I think anybody who is not willing to grow, or anybody who says, I don't have to change, I don't have to adapt, I think that person is short-sighted, and I think they'll lose their way. And so it's just all about growth and understanding. Ernest Ewok in the building. He said, man, yo, there you go. Ewok live from AZ in the 414 by way of the 414. Anthony McGee said, LOL. Yeah. He said he was in middle school, bro. Like, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know he had that much on me, that many years on me. But yeah, man, I didn't get to middle school. See, I got to middle school in the late 80s when hip hop really just took over the world. We talking 87, 88, 89. I was in middle school when hip hop just grabbed America by the throat and said, we gonna choke you out, right? NWA, Too Short, the West Coast. On the East Coast, you got Kane, you got Big Daddy Kane, you got BDP, it just became too big to ignore in the late 80s. America had to say, damn, what is this shit? And ever since then, it's been on. So much to talk about tonight, man. I wanted to shout out, like I said, people who hollered at me and checked on me and said, man, you okay? You know, I'm just one of those people where if I don't feel good, I'm chilling. If it don't have to be nothing big, Kamar. If I'm not feeling right, I'm like, let me chill, right? And so I had old man issues last week. I'm 50 years old, man. I had old man issues, man. Shit wasn't moving like it should, wasn't feeling right. I said, you know what? Let me sit my ass down. I've been pushing myself pretty hard, man, for a couple years, and I just said, let me chill, and that's what I did. It wasn't nothing major. People like, damn, I hope Kev okay. Kev, I'm okay. I'm fine. I could use some sea moss. I could use some elderberry, you know, but other than that, I'm okay, man. I'm okay. So, you know, everybody who's worried, like, I'm fine. And Ewok sent me a text earlier today, like, man, you done got to the point where you're doing one show a month. I'm like, well, it ain't that serious, man. But damn, you know, I chill sometimes. Whenever I say I don't feel it, I chill. You know what I'm saying? How you doing, my brother? How's your week been? How's your week off been? I know you probably enjoyed your time off. What's good with you? I think we got a delay with
Right,
Kamar.
man. You know, my time was smooth. This weekend was dope. You know what I mean? Yeah, but saying I had to do. That's why I was just being quiet for a while, hoping not to catch up for right quick. But my weekend was dope, man. You know what I mean? It's cool. It's laid back. It really don't start till Saturday night. You know what I mean? My weekend start. It is night for me. You know. But yeah, it's cool, man. I got to relax, got some work done, all that good stuff, man. Hung out with my daughter, all that. It was
That's
dope.
what's up. That's what's up, man. Just watching and seeing, of course, just because I'm not on the show doesn't mean I'm not paying attention to what's going on in the country, in particular in Black America. Like I said, I'm always in the People's News Network, and I think the biggest news that I saw, because everything else that we're going to talk about tonight is pretty much incidental, like it just goes on with Trump and politics and this kind of thing, but the blackout, the boycott, the economic boycott, which was supposed to have taken place last Friday, I believe. And I can say I didn't spend any money. I didn't spend any money, right? Like I can't sit up here and say I spent all black. I didn't spend no money because I didn't do anything. I didn't move. I didn't leave the house. But what surprised me once again is our ability to find a way to lash out at each other. It doesn't matter what the situation is. It doesn't matter what comes along. It seems like there's always a willingness amongst us to go at each other. Okay. And y'all, please be vocal about this. Once again, that phone number is 262-202-5131. It's on the bottom of the screen. The chat room is popping. And I just saw so many comments from Black people. I would say they're divisive. Because I feel like if you don't want to participate in something, right? Like, because there's movements all the time that I don't participate in, but I don't speak out against them. I don't hate on them, right? Like I don't go along with everything I see from my people in terms of what's best for us. Let's put it like that, right? Like in terms of people say, well, I believe this, I believe that religiously, socially, politically. I don't always agree with them. But I don't come out and say, oh, man, fuck what he's talking about. I don't come out and say, you dumbass nigga, you don't know nothing. I don't come out and say, oh, you stupid ass niggas doing this, that, and the third. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in us putting us down. And I was so surprised to see people were like venomous. There was vitriol. There was anger. There was, oh, you silly ass. Motherfucker, I'm going shopping today. And don't tell me how to spend my motherfucking money and all. And I was like, whoa. I was just like, whoa. Is it that serious? Right? Like, and I don't know if people understand that the only thing this country understands is money. The only thing both Democrat and Republican parties understand is money. The only thing conservatives and liberals understand is money. That's what makes the world go around. Money. Gotta have it, right? In this country.
This is what the Trump shit is all about. The tariffs and all that. Money.
And the only way you can make an impact, because as just a regular person, I'm a regular person. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not an influencer. I'm just a brother with a microphone. But the only way I can make any kind of impact on this country is to monitor how I spend my money. If I'm dissatisfied with service from a place, the only thing I can really do, fuck dropping a suggestion in the box.
Right.
Fuck, calling the manager complaining. The only thing I can really do is not spend my money there. And so I seen a lot of Black people who were just angry with other Black people. Just like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
It was crazy.
I seen it. I caught a lot of it. I be shooting them videos out there. I caught a lot of it. You know what I mean? I got a new troll and everything. You know what I'm saying? She done went into hiding though. I probably done trolled her off. She found out I'm a bit too petty for her. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know what I mean? Yeah, that shit crazy. And I feel like it's like that whole Trump white supremacist attitude, only you black. You know what I mean? Type of shit going on is really giving Trump supporter energy. You know what I'm saying? When you see that, I feel like it's so fucking divisive. Like, how can you see somebody that's trying to do something and then get mad at them because you think they ain't doing enough? That's fucking stupid. Look, one of the people I was going back and forth with, you know, one of them got at me about that shit. And I just simply asked her. I said, what you doing for the community? Or what are you doing for this subject matter right here? You know what I mean? Like, and can't nobody answer that, and that be my point. What you say, Kev, at the end of every show, if you ain't got nothing but criticism for the community, you know what I mean? You's a fucking coon. And that's really the energy they giving, and they don't even see
it. If okay, so the way of thinking here is, don't tell me what to do. So any hopes of being unified and being on the same kind of, what on this show we call it being on code. So any hopes of us really getting together saying let's move as one is lost because we have individuals who refuse to take any advice, information, direction, whatever you call it,
right
from anybody. You are a solo entity. You're a one-man show. Okay. And I think this kind of thought and this kind of movement is what got us basically into some of the situations that we find ourselves in every day. Because when you try to move independently, when you think that you are unstoppable and you are just this force of nature and nobody can fade you and you don't need any help, you usually get humbled in the worst kind of way. There is no humbling like humility. And I know that's kind of like redundant, but the best way to be humbled is to really realize your own, to be humiliated and really realize your own kind of limitations. And you usually get there when you try to do too much by yourself. When you think, I don't need anybody, I don't need any help, I don't need my people, I'm smarter than my people, I'm bigger than my people. I seen some black people making the statement that I'm not like y'all, I'm different from y'all, I ain't like you niggas. This was just about a boycott. And I was thinking, like, well, how are you not like us? You're in America. You are, I don't know if you're a foundational Black American or a tether. But you're here, you have melanin in your skin, you live in our community. We're in the same tax brackets economically. So how are you different? What makes you so special? What makes you think your interests outweigh what's good for the people? Like, it's asinine. It's and once again, I think we just look, and I don't know, it's part of us being kind of trained like in this capacity. We look for things to argue about. The whole Trump thing has us disillusioned when it really shouldn't. You have a group of people who really, you have a group of black people who really support Trump and they do it out loud, which is fine. But then you have some undercover Trump supporters because they look at some of the things he's doing and they don't necessarily understand the ramifications of it. So they say, oh, that's cool. That's cool. And then you just have people who like, I don't like Trump. I just don't like his movements. I don't like the energy that he brings. And so this is three different groups of black people. So when somebody says, I mean, I seen Floyd Mayweather do a press conference where he was talking about this is the greatest president we ever had. And I'm like, Floyd, you got hundreds of millions of dollars. And I know Floyd does things for the people. I know he has philanthropic efforts. But why do you feel the need to step out and tell other black people how great this president is?
Right.
When we can see him every day on television. You know what I mean? Is he bad? Is he bad for black people at this point? Like, has he gone directly at us? Not directly, Kamar. Not directly. The attacks on DEI and the attacks on affirmative action and these kinds
more
of
like
things.
collateral damage.
It is. It's you get splash on you, get a little splash on you. And he
Right.
even, I seen that the when they had the Black History program and all the black conservatives were happy. And at the same time, people said, well, then he just discontinued all these HBCU scholarships. That has been reinstated. Those scholarships have been reinstated. So Is he directly assaulting us? Not necessarily. But if you deal with someone who's willing to disrespect other people, what makes you think eventually you won't be disrespected as well?
Correct.
Okay. It's like if you got a friend who's always talking about somebody to you, why do you think he don't talk about you to other people?
He definitely talking about you.
He definitely talks about you. So you got to watch it. You have to be on guard. Let me go to the chat room. Ewok said, yeah, just take your ass to the store and shut the fuck up. Why try and get people not to try? Hopeless ass suckers.
Right. I can dig it, Ewok. I can dig it.
My baby girl is in the chat room. Taylor Barnes, she said, insane thing to say when I was talking about those black people who were saying, I'm not like y'all. I'm different. I seen people saying this, Kamar. I ain't with y'all. Y'all niggas can't tell. I gotta go get my Beamer serviced. I seen this. I'm not gonna say the person who said it. I was thinking, like, damn, that's crazy. You better than us because of a car? Like,
right.
You better than us. What is this, Dion? He said, nigga, I don't like no motherfucker that voted for Trump. Dion, we've talked about, you may not agree with a person for some of their personal decisions. I can't think of anybody who I really hate. Because I think hate is a powerful thing. If I say I don't like you or I hate you, that means I'm giving you a lot of energy and a lot of time. And if I disregard, I disregard you, I don't give you anything. I just don't talk to you. I don't respond to you. Go ahead.
You know what I wanted to talk about last week? What you think about the sister? I forgot her first name, but I know her last name is Johnson, Miss Johnson. It's a black lady. She was a prison reform activist, right? And Trump hired her to be the pardon czar.
Okay.
What you think about that?
I don't have all. I saw when you put that post up. I don't have all the information about her and what she's supposed to do. If she was somebody who knows the ins and outs of prison reform, then I would think that would be a qualifier for her to, take that position. I don't, if
he actually gave her a pardon. He actually gave her a pardon years ago.
Okay.
She was caught up in the drug ring in Memphis.
Okay. Well, I mean, once again, if she's qualified for the position, because one thing about Trump we've noticed is that he's appointed a lot of people who are just not qualified for the positions they're in, right? Like they were gimmies.
Right. I'm just saying. I was asking you that because you know what I mean. It just surprised me that he would hire a black woman who was actually in, you know what I mean, the activist prison reform to be a pardon czar. Like,
yeah,
because I would have thought he'd have had some known racist as a pardon czar.
Well, that's what keeps the scales kind of unbalanced, Kamar, and that's why you have some of us who will say he's a good president. Mr. Trump is good people's. It's like
that's the shit a motherfucker do to make people say, see, I told you.
That's what I'm saying. It's akin to the slave master taking a black person and giving them a position, and people say, "Oh, Mr. Charlie ain't bad."
I'm hoping. Right. I'm hoping she really do, since she was a prison reform activist. I'm hoping she really taking the job serious and gonna look into different cases and shit. You know what I mean? And start letting people out, man, getting people some pardons too.
I'm hoping that if that was once her thing about prison reform, she's going to continue down that path. I would hope that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm just hoping that. That's like the one bright spot I could see so far, and we still don't know though. You know what I mean? Yeah, but like at this point, looking at it, you know what I mean? It's the one spot that I'm really like, okay, I kind of like this. But
there's some things that are happening in our government, and I have to say this out loud. I don't have a problem with. My problem is mostly centered around him and his energy. It's really like there's some things policy-wise that I say I don't know that that's bad, and we're going to touch on some of those. My daughter says we can literally see it. The delusion is crazy. Yes, baby. It is. And you can see it. You can see people just really confused. Like they don't know. They don't know what's going on. Ricky Adams, Shout out to Ricky Adams, man. Ricky Adams, Lord, man, Ricky goes back, man. 10, 12 years when we were on Blog Talk Radio. My goodness. Blog Talk Radio is shut down now. But Ricky was with us on there. We used to call him West Side Fred. He said he didn't bother us in his first term. I think his energy did, but he didn't directly. I think the energy that he gave off created some Karens and some Kevins. Not me, but we know what that is. Shabaka, how you doing, my brother? He said, greetings, Outlaws. He said, and he didn't even bother us yet anyway in his second term. I think we just touched on that. It hasn't been really a direct assault yet on us. Shabaka says, rest in peace, Roberta Flack. She was laid to rest today. Yes. Rest in peace to Angie Stone. Also, Dion said, bro, flat out, fuck them, no cap. He said, I'm ready to go to blows with these sucker ass niggas. Is it that serious, Dion, that you ready to go to blows with them? Earl Henning said, what it do, my brothers? Chocolate milk. I love us. Earl on the chocolate milk. Dion said, first of all, there's no such thing as a pardon czar. It's a fictional position, and Trump is over the federal branch. It has nothing to do with state pardons. Okay.
Here's a pardon czar. They got a border czar. They got a lot of different czars. Look it up, Dion. I'm looking at it right here on my phone too, as a matter of fact.
He's Googling.
I looked at a couple different stories about it.
Mama Jenkins, how you doing? How you doing, Mama Jenkins? I'm glad to be back, Mama Jenkins. How you doing, Dion? Fred said, I'm sorry, I still call him West Coast Fred. Ricky, the line should be open. Let me double check. I'm always walking and chewing gum at the same time. Let me make sure I give my. Yeah, the line should be open. I don't see. Okay. Dion's calling. So, yes, the lines are open. Ricky Adams. Dion, what's good, man? What's going on? Dion, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I had my mic up.
Okay.
I got a few minutes real quick. Bro was like, it is a pardon czar. In what administration has there ever been a border czar or a pardon czar? We could go back to Nixon. We go back to Reagan. We go back to Kennedy. We go back to even Obama. You understand what I'm saying? This is some goof ass shit made up, like the border czar. You know what I'm saying? Like we never referred to Kamala Harris as the border czar. Never, ever have. You understand what I'm saying? So
because she was the vice president.
They called her. She's supposed to be the border czar. That's what they called her. Hey, have you ever heard it? Yes or no?
Oh, they called her that? They called her that. So then they are czars. There are czars then. Well, then there are czars then. Dion, what the fuck you talking about?
America.
If they called her a czar, there are czars.
Oh, you know what, boy? You can believe what you want to, bro. I'm just trying to inform you on it. And you could go back and look at any administration that you want to. Any administration. Ain't no czars on the border. Ain't no czars, pardon czars. Ain't none of that. But Kev, before I get off the phone, though, man, before I get off the phone, though, because I'm still working and shit, I know this truck be backing up, it be beeping. Man, I'm glad you back, man. I was checking on you.
Did you make an appearance?
Hold on. Hey, Ricky, hold on. I got you on, but I got you in queue. Hold on, Ricky. Go ahead, Dion.
I'm glad you feeling better. You know what I'm saying? I was checking on you, 100. You know my nigga. You know what I'm saying? But man, like I look at it like this though, bro. Anybody can believe what they want to believe. I'm gonna believe what I want to believe. But you know what I'm saying? When motherfuckers be like, Donald Trump ain't attacked us yet. If it's a ban on the Board of Education, into the Department of School Education, that's an attack on us. Any FHA loan, fucking with the Medicare, stuff like that, Medicaid, SNAP benefits, HUD programming. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, motherfuckers, see, that's the thing about it. The difference, like when the Nixon administration came in, they say it's unpolitical. I can't think of it, but it's not political to use the N word, the nigga word. We gonna come at them differently and more strategically. So when we hear about And don't get me wrong, I know it's not a lot of, I mean, you know, it's some black people that get Medicaid, but we not the majority of them, because we not the majority of the people on this earth. You know what I'm saying? White people are. It's going to affect them more than it's going to affect us. Shit, some niggas don't even have insurance, and we got to pay our ass you for ibuprofen. But it's so many little things that he has done and his administration is doing to affect us. Like, has it directly affect us? No. These tariffs going to directly affect motherfuckers. The automobiles going to go up. Cell phones gonna go up, gas prices gonna go up, all type of goofy shit. You know what I'm saying? All type of goofy shit. But other than that, though, you know, I mean, but like I said, though, bro, I don't want to have nothing in common with a motherfucker to vote for Trump. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to be friends with him. I don't even want to nod at him. You know what I'm saying? Like this man was gonna do. He said it, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. I ain't mad at him. I want him to fuck the United States up. Like I said, I believe in collateral damage. It might hurt me too, but I want it to hurt all the motherfuckers. Like, Trump not a bad guy. He's this, he's that, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? So fuck it. Keep doing what you're doing, Trump. Destroy this motherfucker. Do what you're going to do. Once I get on the other side of Peckerwood land, cuz I'm going to call you. I'm going to hang up a list because, like I said, I'm still moving these trailers and shit. And I know that people be fucking with you. But love, Outlaw. I love you niggas.
All right, man. I got another caller. Ricky Adams, who, like I said, has been supported us a long time ago. Ricky, you got your line clear? You sound like you was yelling at your.
Yeah, I'm clear. Yes, sir. I thought I was muted. I'm sorry. So, you know, I really don't. After talking long, extensive talks, it's West Coast for by the way. Some of you might roommates came up, but after long, extensive talks of talking to people who are Black conservatives and Black liberals, I do not demonize a Black person who votes left or right, but please make an informed, sound decision when you choose to vote. Have logical reasons of why, specifically of why you decided to vote. I haven't voted since Obama's first term.
Okay,
and I wanted to vote for him the second time, but I couldn't get the voting time. But I felt that we win, and he won that time. But I didn't vote for Hillary or Trump the first term they tried. The presidential 2016 election, they were going against each other. But, you know, when I have to compare Kamala and Trump or Biden and Trump, and as a former Democrat, I had to make a sound decision as when I looked at both presidents' policies and how the Democratic Party was treating us, not worried about family, Black family in particular, only worried about abortion rights, LGBT rights, reproductive rights, nothing that benefits men, Black men in particular. But at least I said, I know the consequences of my vote when I voted for Donald Trump because he was more worried about the damn money. This Kamala woman over here was not worried about money. She was worried about stuff that doesn't even benefit men. Hell, women at that. So if you're going to make a decision, I at least made an intelligent decision knowing that there'll be consequences to my actions. But at least I was like, you know, let me make a sound decision to at least worry about what we got to do with everything else. I was worried about where the money was. Kamala wasn't.
Okay.
So I made that decision to say, hey, I'm worried about the money. He cares about the money. Where's it going? Where's it due? And because that directly affects all of us. So as long as you're Black and you make a decision based on sound, calculus, intelligent, well-informed decisions, for me, I chose the policies, and Kamala's policies was crap.
Okay, so that's cool.
Go ahead.
And shout out to you because, like I said, you supported. Man, it's been over 10 years. So I and you used to call in when we were on Blog Talk, and like we used to be live. So shout out to you first of all. But I want to say on this show, we are nonpartisan. We are neither Republican nor Democrat. I feel like we do a great job at calling out both parties where they are short when it comes to foundational Black Americans. I chose not to vote Trump because I felt like Trump was a known racist. And in my heart of hearts, I could never stand with a known racist, regardless of anything else. I could never stand with a known racist. I did not necessarily love the things that Kamala and the Democratic Party had done. I felt like that our country needed some change. I felt like that there were some things that they were doing that were wrong, but I voted for her because I was against the racist white supremacist ideology that Trump exudes. Okay.
Right.
Now, once again, Kamar and myself say this all the time. If you are a person of color and you chose to vote for Trump, that is fine. If you felt like his policies were strong, if you felt like that he was going to bring things to the table that would benefit the country economically, it's fine. The only thing that you can't do with me is tell me that he's not a racist. If you want to vote for him, fine. If you like him, that's fine. Just don't say, okay, if he's not a racist. That's when I say, now I feel like you're just an idiot, right? Like, because how he moves is how every rich, racist white man in this country has always moved and will always move. He's arrogant. He's willing to lie. He's willing to blur facts. He'll spin you. He can't be trusted, right? And so that's the way racist white men who've dominated this country for the better part of the last 100, 200 years, that's how they move. That's how they operate. And you look at the people who surround him. Like, people always tell me, you are who your friends are. Take a look at your friends. That's who you are. Like, right? So if you hang around a bunch of thieves, killers, gangsters, dope dealers, pimps, hustlers, you probably one too, whether or not you wear it on the outside or it's just on the inside. So I appreciate you saying you voted and you took the time to research and saying, hey, I tried to make as conscious of a decision as possible. Do I agree that you voted for him? No, but I appreciate the fact that at least you gave it some thought. You didn't just jump in and say, what they were saying down south, I voted for Trump because he's standing on business. And we just laughed at him. Like, what does that mean?
No,
what does that
mean? I would never say, oh, he's not. I would never say that to you, or I never say that within myself. At least I felt like, okay, if I'm gonna vote, what's the smartest, lesser of two evils? Should I set my ass down? Because I sat my ass down. I sat down. I voted for the couch. You know, I voted for the couch. Right. So at least I could say I did vote, right? Yeah. So I'd say, like, I didn't want to vote for him the first time. I was like, he's white. I'm just like, you know what? Everybody still got to eat. Where's the money go? That's where my mind was. Well, and if you make it sound,
one of the great things about this is as we sit right now, and everything is going crazy, and everybody's looking at black people saying, where y'all at? We out here protesting. Yeah. Latinos, Asians, gay people, everywhere. Where black people at? Well, we did what we were supposed to do, because there was still over 80% of black people who voted democratically. Because what we were supposed to do is not vote for a known racist, right? We weren't supposed to do that. Now, there are some of us who said, no, I'm not, Kev, I got to go a different way, which that's respect to you. You exercised your right as an American to vote for who you wanted to vote for. But we did what we were supposed to do. You know who didn't do it? Latinos who are facing mass deportation, women who've lost more rights via attacking DEI and affirmative action and equal opportunity. Women, white women in particular, have lost. And they voted for him. Yay, go Trump. And these old white men who, like my brother referenced, get Medicaid, who get all kinds of insurance, Social Security, and all this kind of stuff. They don't know that they are themselves those people who, what they call the handouts. They are the ones who are recipients of even welfare, because guess what? There's more white welfare recipients than there are black welfare recipients, because they outnumber us, but there's still more. So every time you go to hollering about no more handouts, you fucking yourself. So I think this is a great time where we can just sit back and say, let's worry about us. Let's focus on us. And every time we start arguing and going at each other about something silly, we're wasting time. We need to be worried about building us. This is the greatest time for us to say, hey, let's delineate. Let's self-identify. Let's say who we are. Let's talk about who we are, and let's build from there. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that, one day I hope you get reparations, but that's just not know. But like, when Trump took away the DEI, listen, black people paid in blood for all their rights that these people have. We voted blue for most of us. That benefited the immigrants who came in. The Fair Housing Act and all the other doors we opened for which are civil rights which opened the door to the equal opportunity employer laws, where nobody was discriminated on sex, gender, race, creed, whatever. We paid for that.
That's right.
And do they? I personally think that they don't. Like all the other minority groups, they didn't pay in blood. They didn't fight for those things. We did, and they don't deserve it. So if Trump took it away, it's like, hey, you have it, but you didn't pay for that. We paid the ultimate price for that. And I'm just like, you're waiting for black people to do something. I said, no, we are set our asses down and just go and take care of ourselves, because they do not deserve our help at this point. They did not earn it, and they didn't bleed and cut and die for it. So that's how I feel.
That's cool. I wouldn't disagree. I say that we are the ones who laid down the law and really put our lives on the line all these years, and we have been at the forefront of all these movements. And like you said, we got to a point where everybody else was benefiting from this stuff more than we were. So while a lot of us, and we've said on this show, we were not that upset about this DEI thing. It wasn't like we were seeing the needle wasn't moving forward for us that fast. We was on
the bottom of the list of the DEI, so that wasn't even a shot at us.
Thank you. And the hiring practices, which need to be changed, were not changed because of DEI. So I just looked at it like more of a conversation than an action piece. Now let me go to my chat room before I get too far behind y'all. Shabaka said, "Fuck Nixon, Reagan, and Obama." He's still calling an interview. Anthony McGee said, "No, it was made up. There's no official border czar." He said, "Never has been any czar or border lead." Shabaka saying, "Brother,
hey, let me make it clear. I never heard of it either, right? I never heard of it either. But I just sent the two links what I read from Washington Post and I think the U.S. Times, or no, the New York Post, where they was talking about it, and they was saying he's announcing her as it. Like, I don't know, maybe it's something that he's starting. Maybe it's a job he started. But I'm like, y'all, I never heard of it either. And this is another reason why I asked the question here on the show, right?
You did ask a question. You did ask what I thought about.
I made a video about this, what I read. And I asked the question, what do you think about this, right?
You did.
But see, like you said, Kev, niggas love to argue and shit, right? Niggas love to argue and come, we were just talking about that shit too on the show. And here they go. Come on with it, though. I love it.
Okay. You did ask. Mama Jenkins said, "Never ever a border czar." Anthony McGee says Trump is calling for the death penalty for drug dealers. So there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that, Anthony, because that's interesting.
Everybody steal drugs. Stop selling drugs. We don't need that shit in our hood, no way.
Hold on. Let me see what else we got. Earl, she said there was a drug czar. Give me a second, Shabaka. Give me a second. Earl Henny said bullshit today. Ernest said, "How can you vote for?" On the news. My bad. Ernest Walker said, "How can you?"
I was watching on the news. Go ahead. Fuck it.
Ernest Walker said, "How can you vote for an idiot? No excuses, please. Trump is a horrible person, period." Anthony McGee said the economy was better under the last president. Look at the stock market. It was 45,000 lost last October. Now look. I'm just trying to run through these commercials so I can get caught up. I don't want you to lose your train of thought. Dion said he had no policies. He said he had a concept. Said motherfucker can't really name no policies. Earl Henny said, like Paul Mooney said, we were slaves. They had 12 jobs for us. Today they say we ain't got no jobs. Anthony McGee said Trump also said any school that teaches DEI, critical race, or basic black history will be they will lose their federal funding, because he put a whole link to a place. He did do that. That was a direct shot. That was a shot, but I got something for you on that, Anthony. I got something for you on that. Ewok said, ask dude what Trump has done economically that he likes. And then Shabaka said, let me know when to call in. I'm gonna bring you in. I just want to catch the chat room up because I always get behind. Anthony, this is the one thing about that. And I had to get it some thought too, because I was pissed about that. And I live in a state, in a city where we had to basically go back to our state as the largest tax, as in terms of providing tax benefits. Milwaukee generates more tax revenue than any place in this state. And we had to go back to the state and make and basically borrow money and try to make an agreement for more revenue sharing. Now, keep in mind, this is our money. And before Trump was even in office, and this is a Democratic initiative, because our mayor and our county executive, who are both black, pushed this. They said, well, at least the mayor, because DC Crowley, who's the county executive, told me he wasn't in agreement with this. They said then that no critical race theory, no no DEI, no black, that couldn't be taught in school. Remember, Kamar? That was one of the conditions of getting the money from the state. This is before Trump. This is a Democratic thing. That was already in place. DeSantis down in Florida, there was already a movement to get rid of critical race theory. All these kinds of things, they were already in place. But my thing is this. I have to take a lesson from my mom. If you want your black child to know about black history, teach them. If we want our children to know about their history, let's teach them. Why the
because the shit they teaching in school is bullshit.
Anyways, it's watered down. Anyways,
the shit they teaching in school is bullshit.
Yes.
Our history go way farther than slavery. I practice a Kemetic spiritual system. Like, you know what I mean? Our history go way back farther than that. You know, hey, Kev, let me go back and touch on this. Because, like, maybe this is something we need to look into a bit more, right? Because, see, remember I mentioned the borders are, I saw this watching the news. He was mentioning, and I looked it up. He mentioned, they said, not him, but they said Tom Holman, a veteran of immigration law enforcement, is said to be the border czar. Like, that's what I'm saying. Maybe this is something we need to be looking into. Like, maybe there's some new shit that Trump coming up with. But I'm telling y'all, there's some shit I read while y'all jumping down my throat.
And you know, even if, once again, just the whole conversation about it, it's lighting the fuse to people going to see what this whole thing is about. So the intention of it, right, and the effect of it works.
I don't know if the czar shit is fake or whatever. I don't know. Like I said, I'm like y'all, I'd never heard of it before, but it caught my interest.
Well, go look. I would encourage anybody, go look it up. Do the research. Don't just take what we say. Go do the research. Right. You know? Ricky Adams said, I actually have to go eat dinner. It was great talking to you, brothers. Hey, Rick, man, it was good hearing from you, man. Like I said, 10 years of support for what we do here. And Rick used to hit me and say, man, I want to support in any way I can. Just let me know. I was greatly appreciative of it, man. So, and I'm glad you called in tonight. I think you brought a perspective to the table. I mean, you're a black man and you voted for Trump, but the fact that you were able to explain logically why you did it. Well, what people say, well, no, man, ask him about, you know, we could go into all of that, but I'm not interviewing him. The show ain't about him.
Without the argument, too.
Well, yeah.
Hey, without the argument, too.
Yeah. You know,
hey, look, we all voted the same way, and these niggas arguing with me.
Well, I always ask for people who supported Trump, a black person, a foundational black American who supported Trump. I always say,
I'm talking about Dion Nass, man. I'm talking about Dion Nass.
No, I know.
He voted the same way, but he arguing with me about some shit.
I'm saying, but I always tell people, hey, if you're a person of color, a foundational black American, and you vote, call in. We'd like to hear why. I thought he just did that. I thought he just called in and said, hey, without taking a shot at anybody or without, saying, oh, you dumbass niggas. He said, hey, man, I had to give it some thought. So I thought that was dope. Shout out to him. Earl Henny said, if you want your kids to know how to read and write, teach them. See, and that's the thing. Right. And we've got to the point where we expect our expectations. Now, should you expect the school system to do something beneficial for your kids in terms of education? Absolutely. Because we pay them, we pay taxes, and the property tax levy in Milwaukee is billion. MPS has a $1.5 billion budget. Hell yeah, there's some expectations. But like I said before, I think it's our job to build a foundation and it's their job to enhance and enrich, right? My kids should come to school knowing how to read on a basic level. Now, since I don't have all day to sit and go over the different nuances of reading and reading comprehension, I would expect they took from home what I gave them and went to school and got more enhancement. And they said, okay, Dad, remember what you taught me? Well, I learned this today. But when it's not happening, then I have a problem. But the bottom line is it's on me as a parent to make sure that my child can read. It's on me to check in with my child and watch and learn his or her social skills to say, hey, man, I'm looking at the way my kid behave at home. I bet you he hell on wheels at school. I should be opening up the lines of communication with that school saying, hey, this my number. Call me when he get to acting a fool. My son will tell you, when they would call me, I would leave work, Kamar. I show up. He look up, I be standing in the doorway. Them kids be like, ooh.
Pull up game strong.
Man, them kids
know it. Hey, he know it.
Man, they tap him. That go Mr. Barnes.
That make a difference, right?
Damn.
Hey, that make a difference. They know you'll show up.
Man, sweat him hard too. Look, one time I got him, Kamar. I caught him in the lunchroom and his buddies was looking. And I said, why you think I'm here? He's like, my teacher called. I said, I should smack the shit out of you right here in this lunchroom in front of everybody. He looked at me. He got so humble. Kamar, he said, please don't do that. He said, please don't do that. I'm just saying, like, he knew
the end of my career.
Man, that would have been it. I wouldn't have been able to survive. And look, he knew what we're gonna call Mr. Barnes. He knew he gonna look up. I'm gonna be standing there. Why do I gotta leave work? And my job, he went to go to my air. So I worked at the housing authority, so I was right across the street. Or I worked at College Possible. I was right down the street. I worked downtown. My jobs were downtown. So I'm 3 minutes. I take half my lunch break. I'm going to Golda. I'm finna go. I'm in the lunchroom. I'm talking about I'm showing up in gym. This is big old black man standing
in his tennis shoes.
I didn't have to do it for my baby girl, but I had to do it for little dude. You know what I'm saying? Because he was testing his boundaries as a young man.
Boys different.
Yeah. I didn't have to for her, but yeah, for him, then I had to. Ewok on the line. Ewok, what's popping with you, man? How you doing?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Outlaw. Hey,
what you do, Ewok?
It ain't about us teaching our own children Black history at home. That ain't what they worried about, because that's gonna get passed down anyway. What they worried about is they trying to protect the lives of their children and their grandchildren to make them feel like they ain't done nothing. They trying to make it think they want to whitewash the shit so they don't grow up thinking, oh man, we socially fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's the unlearning of the shit on their behalf. You know what I'm saying? They don't want them kids to know the truth. That's why they taking all of the Black history out of the books and burning books and all of that shit, man. So motherfuckers kind of looking at it from the wrong direction. They don't want their children learning that shit. Oh, y'all used to own slaves. Y'all used to make people do shit. They don't want that available. They don't want that information available for their kids and great-grandkids and shit. They can give a fuck less if we learn it or not. They don't care about that shit, man.
Well, I don't, you know what? I'm going to tell you like this. In terms of MPS earnings, MPS is 95% Black anyways. So white kids ain't learning Black history anyways. And I can guarantee
That's
you.
MPS. We got a whole United
hold
States
on,
of America.
hold on. Listen to me. And I have to speak locally. I can't speak for the whole country. In Brookfield, in Pewaukee, in Jefferson, they're not teaching Black history in their schools anyways. Black History Month ain't shit. Now, if they got one or two little mulatto kids up there, maybe they'll mention it. They're not teaching that to their kids anyways. The only place it's being taught is in schools that have a lot of Black kids.
I tell you what,
they only teaching slavery
for something. They ain't burning books and banning that shit for nothing, Kev. I tell you that goddamn much. Why is they going all the way out of their way to get rid of it? It's somebody they scared of learning. They scared of somebody picking up that book and saying the truth. So you wouldn't hide the motherfucking book.
Go ahead, Kamar.
I think that's part of it. Ewok, you know what I mean? I think you're on the right track with that. I think it's a number of reasons, though. You know what I mean? I feel like another reason is, you know what I'm saying, like people like me. I took a Black history class and I saw the slavery and shit, but I start wondering what came before that. Where they get them from? What was they doing before that? You know what I mean? So it opened the door that route for me. You know what I mean? I wanted to know what happened before slavery. You know what I'm saying? So it could shut the Black kids' mind off from all the different stuff that Black people have done since being in the country. Because they only teach Black history in this country. Like they say, Black history. You know what I mean? They don't teach African history. They don't teach Kemetic history. They don't teach Swahili history. They don't you know what I'm saying? So I feel like the real parts of our history, like I feel like the parts of our history, what we need to be teaching, if you own that, is the spiritual aspects of it. You know what I'm saying? The spiritual aspects of it is what we should be teaching.
You know what?
That truth.
And that can only be done at home.
Books, man. The truth is in the books. They scared as hell of the truth, man. Because the truth takes away some of their power and mind control. All that shit is mind control.
What y'all both saying is cool and all, but I'm here to tell you that the basic public school education does not teach a lot of things. Okay, they don't teach you advanced biology. They don't teach you advanced mathematics. They don't teach you the history of every other race. Like, I mean, I'm hearing Kamar talking about African history and Kemetic history. They don't teach you about Irish history. They don't teach you about Scottish history. They don't teach you about a lot of things. There is a such thing as higher education. You learn more. The higher you get in education, the more lessons you learn. Basic public school education does not teach a lot of things, right? And so when it comes to Black history, of course, and even in the Black history that we have all received, you don't really even get a whole, you only get a crumb of it. They're going to teach you about Benjamin Banneker. They're going to teach you about Martin Luther King. They're going to teach you about Harriet Tubman to a certain extent. It's so much other stuff you don't learn about, right? And this is why I say,
and make you watch Glory,
or Eyes on the Prize, right? Or Selma, or something like that. But I'm telling you, my mom, who didn't even finish school and she grew up in the Jim Crow South, didn't even have Black history, sent me to the library to learn my history because there was books in there that you didn't get at Phillips School. I went and learned about the Black Panthers. I went and learned about Huey P. Newton was. I learned about Fred Hampton. I learned about Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X. Not just, Malcolm X was a great American and know what he looks like. I learned about him. I learned about that on my own because my mom said, this is what you need to know. You need to know about you. I'm not concerned if a white person don't know it. I'm not concerned. Hold on. Let me finish. I'm not concerned about a white kid not knowing that stuff. I'm concerned about Black kids not knowing it. Because what ends up happening is when they don't know and they don't know it in depth, we end up with a generation of Black kids right now who, if you ask them about somebody from our history, they'll go, who? Oh man, I don't know nothing about that shit. I don't care about that. We got a 50% truancy rate in MPS right now. I don't give a damn what you teaching. You got 50% truancy rate. If the kids ain't there, you can't teach empty seats. So I'm not really worried about oh, we can't teach critical race theory to 5th graders. I'm more concerned that the kids ain't in school. See, I worry more about us than I worry about them or what they're doing. I worry more about us. Are you saying I'm losing track or I'm missing the point? How am I missing the point?
Because when I first called in, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't trying to say that black kids and white kids need that they needed it. I wasn't saying that. I said they was trying to make damn sure that the white kids don't see none of it. They don't want them to see it.
Who cares if they don't?
They hide it from them so they don't feel bad about themselves. That's what I was trying to say.
In this world with the internet, in this world with the internet, can you really hide anything? If white kids are on the internet, white kids, first of all, all of that stuff is so known right now. You're gonna run across it whether you learn it in school or not. You're gonna see it. You're gonna hear us talking about it. If they start going after people who still talk about it, I would think it was an issue. Go ahead. They're trying to
I see it both. I see it from both of y'all point of view, right? Because I remember back when we was talking about critical race theory, and they purposed that, and one of their excuses for critical race theory was they didn't want little white kids to feel guilty about slavery and the shit that happened. That was some of the excuse. You know what I mean? So I think that's where Ewok coming from. Am I right?
Yeah, that's my point exactly.
I understand that, but when you start saying, well, they taking it out because they don't want them to know. I guess my point of view is I don't care if they know or not. That doesn't change the fact. That don't change the truth is undeniable, right? And so, would you rather have the real or would you have the watered down? And those white kids, you know, all it's going to do, you know what it's going to do for them, Ewok? You know what it's going to do for them, Kamar? When those white kids do find out, you know what they're going to do? They're going to rebel against their parents. Like, oh, my God, why wouldn't you? If that's the truth, Dad, Mom, why didn't you ever? Well, we didn't want you to feel guilty about that. Why didn't you fucking
tell me, Mom?
Right. That's what happens. Anytime a kid find out that their parents withheld something from them, what happens? They rebel against it. Yeah, they say, oh, my God. What else was a lie? So you're telling me Uncle Billy wasn't really my uncle? And he probably wasn't. Uncle Billy was probably your daddy.
Hey, I'm on slide so Shabbat could call, man.
Okay. Shout out to you, Ewok. Said I'm a black man in America. Said precisely. Ewok, you're right. When I was talking about showing up at my son's school, he said, and now he's in college getting an education. But he's a young man now. He understands consequences. I'm not saying he's perfect, and please don't ever think I'm saying that my way of parenting was 100% the foolproof, the absolute way to do it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I tried to be there as much as possible to teach him accountability. That's all. I wanted him to know that every action has a reaction, right? And there's always consequences for your decisions. And so, that was all I was trying to teach him. He said they're taking it out because they still racist, taking out the history. Earl said facts. Hold on, let me get Shabak on. Hold on, Dion, let me merge. Anthony McGee said, truth, we are the only ones whose history is being erased. Rock, how you doing, my brother? JC Terry, he said allowed ignorance. Shabaka says, I lived through the Black Panther era. JC Terry says, whitewashing. Mama Jenkins said, I have a dream speech is the only speech they teach. The same children never heard or read the letter from the Birmingham jail. I never knew what that was. Mama Jenkins, if I didn't go, hold on, Shabaka. I would have never known. This makes my point, Kamar. I would have never known what any of that was if I was just leaning on what I learned about Black history from public school, right? It was like I said, it was my mom who said, no, there's way more to it. Go down there to that library and get them books. Right. And I learned about the letter from the Birmingham. I learned about all of that. Yeah. And then we could have conversation. Right. So, but I'm saying she knew that they weren't going to teach me. And she would even say, and them white folks don't want you to know this. And she was right, because at a 10, 11 years old, I sit in a history class and tell my teacher, that's actually not true. You know, and anybody who went to school with me will testify to this. I used to sit in the classroom and be like, that's not true. That's a lie. Well, Mr. Barnes, if you know so much, you explain it. And I would lay it out. And then you know where my ass ended up? In the office with a phone call home. In the office. And they call my mama and she say, yeah, well, he was telling the truth. He ain't lie.
Hey,
but if you want to
call home, they're going to tell your mama, they tell your mama you ain't up there being a smart aleck.
That's a world-class smart ass. He's a smart ass.
You know what I'm saying?
And she say, send him home. Send him home then. God damn it, I'm trying to sleep. Shit. And when I come in the house, she be like, all right, well, you gonna learn. Sit your ass down in there. And you know, it's just, I told my kids the same thing. Hey, there's way more to us than these schools are gonna give you. Your job, learning don't stop when the school bell ring. Now, I got Dion on the line. I got Shabaka on the line. So Shabaka called in and I didn't get his call earlier. So Shabaka, what's cracking with you, man? How you doing tonight?
Hey, man, how you be, Kev? Greetings, Outlaws. Greetings, come on. Hey, man, keep up the great work. Hey. But when Trump, now, a lot of people going to disagree with me on this, and I would debate with any of them. First place, with Trump getting rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, the best goddamn thing to happen for us. I'm going to tell you why. Because that means that when we go out here and open up our own businesses, man, we ain't got to be bothered or hire any of them other motherfuckers, but we will market to anybody like they do with us with their bullshit. You see what I mean? And now, as far as Black History Month, hey, man, Black history started from the beginning of time and it will last to the end of time. You see what I mean? And then I get sick and tired, man, of these goddamn public indoctrination centers telling us, well, you know, you're making white folks feel guilty and all that. Go read up on the Devil's Punch Bowl. We did that on Frontline Black News the other night, okay? Now, you motherfuckers get up here and say, well, man, that makes us feel uncomfortable. Kid, do you know how uncomfortable we felt, man, on them plantations, man, sun up to sundown? Some bitch up there hitting you with a whip, man, and how many brothers, man, made the ultimate sacrifice, man, and snatched that whip and beat that cracker's ass like Frederick Douglass did, you see? And then the police, like I argued with some stupid bastard on Facebook today, the police are policy enforcers. They're not law enforcement officials. They showed one of these goddamn cops earlier today, man, that OD'd on some fucking meth. Good for the motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Police guard, chosen for a superior brawn and lack of intelligence. And then also, too, as you know, Roberta Flack, she was laid to rest today. May power be upon her. It's because I remember her music as a child compared to what she was off in the late 60s, early 1970s, and what have you. And also, too, and I'm taking responsibility for this comment, Kev. Fuck the Academy Awards, fuck Hollywood, and fuck the whole goddamn city of Los Angeles with that bullshit. Because there was a whole lot of black talent that they stole. Look what happened with Ms. Angie Stone. Reading up on her, man, they didn't give her none of her residuals. They didn't give her none of her money. You see, it's because that's Universal Music Group now. Yeah, the same company that used to be Universal Pictures. You see what I'm saying? They went off there, man, off into the music business, buying up all the catalog. So for the brothers out there making your music and all that, if you ain't never been to Los Angeles before, read them goddamn contracts, man, because they out to fuck you out of your money, man. And that's for real, for real, for real, because they're going to take you out there to Century City. They're going to put them goddamn snow bunnies on you. Then they're going to come to you with that shit and get your mind so twisted and so fucked up, man, you just going to sign anything for some money. All money ain't good money. Hell, all of us on shot craps, man. All of us on play dominoes, you know what I mean? So therefore, think before you strike, y'all black family, you know what I'm saying? And with me being an old bastard, the only thing I could do, Kev, for your generation, man, is to pass on down, man, of what I've lived through so the generations after me can make the proper decisions. And no, we're not all the goddamn same. I tell any one of them damn cracker motherfuckers, come out here to me in Las Vegas this summer, first day of June, and let's sit out in this 120-degree temperature together, and I will get great pleasure and watch your ass fry. Only thing I'm going to do, man, is get darker, man, because we are the children of the sun.
My brother, thank you for calling in, Shabaka. I appreciate your contribution always.
Yes, sir.
I can, and it's a jewel, like you said, and passing it to my generation, and I try to do my best to pass it on to the generation, my children especially.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
that's all we can really do.
Too,
that's all we can really
yes,
do.
Sir. And get with us on Frontline Black News, y'all, when y'all can, you know what I'm saying? And then we'll keep you posted, Kev, and because I know you guys are 3 hours ahead of us. So what we'll try to do, I'll speak with Jesse, man. We'll try to make it early as possible, man, you know what I'm saying, to give you guys some feedback coming in, you know what I mean, and whatnot. And we have great debates, everybody wants to argue, and it's not so much arguing, but disagreeing agreeably, which is the best thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just because, just like what Kamar said, you got all kind of motherfuckers out here talking bullshit, man, and don't know what the fuck they talking about. So I try to get halfway educated, you know what I'm saying? And I do know the word is education, and that's the difference between a wise man and a goddamn fool.
There you go.
All right, Outlaw. So
all
I'm
right,
gonna bid you all a good night, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Soon.
Shout out to you, man. I'm in my chat room, y'all. I see my sister Jasmine Tyler. What up, Jazz? She said peace and love. She said if you down with Bad Boy, fuck you too. She said Unc ain't playing no games today. I know that's right. Mama Jenkins said speak truth, Shabaka. Jasmine, she said he said fuck the Academy Awards and the Oscars. If you down with Bad Boy, fuck you too. Yeah, man. Shabaka give it to you straight lace, no chaser. I want to go back. Dion, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. I had a few comments.
Okay, now I want to first of all say shout out to congratulations to Jasmine. Jasmine, you just got another. Jasmine make moves. And the great thing about her is you don't see everything that she does. She's not everything 24/7 on Facebook. Jazz, you just put up something. I seen you got in a position today. So congratulations to you. Shout out to you and the family. And your kids, your boy and my boy played ball together. So I hope he's doing well, young Millie. Shout out to you. And shout out to Keelan too, man. Shout out to Keelan too, my brother. So peace and love. But I want to go back to the drug dealer thing where Trump is saying let's give the death penalty to drug dealers. Let's go back there. Okay, because first of all, my only issue with this is let's define drug dealer. Okay, let's define it. Now, if we go all the way back to how this is defined, then we got to go back to this is funny. The first drug czar, Harry J. Anslinger, who was down with Gay Edgar Hoover a way long time ago. This whole drug thing there's some racist tenements to it, right? He came up with a lot of these laws because with reefer madness, well, when black men smoke weed, they want to play jazz and have sex with white women. Right? Like we don't need a bunch of degenerate pot smokers running around the country. And with the war on drugs, that was one-sided because who was bringing the drugs in? With the conviction rates in our court system in which we are disproportionately convicted for the same offenses at a way higher level than our white counterparts. Okay? Before we start handing out death penalty for drugs and drug dealers, let's make sure that the railroading of black men for selling drugs is eradicated. Okay, that's why I say people say legalize marijuana. I say don't legalize it, decriminalize it. Decriminalizing something and legalizing something is two different things. So if we're gonna say death penalty for drug dealers, then so we have to start looking at some of big pharma who has manufactured and distributed legally some of the most deadly drugs. You have fentanyl, which is made in a laboratory. This don't grow from the earth. This is not something that black men came up with and we invented and we selling in the community. You look at all these Vicodin, Percocets, there's Adderall, all of these drugs that were created in a lab by physicists and scientists and distributed legally in this country. The opioid epidemic. These are legal drugs. So if he's gonna say like the death penalty to drug dealers, I'm all for it if you finna run up in Pfizer. I'm all for it. I'm all for it if you finna go up into these factories that's making $100 billion a year. Okay, let's go for it. But if I see you try to come up in the hood and grab a crack dealer and say we're gonna give you the death penalty, that's why I say, now see, that's that bullshit. So when we say death penalty for drug dealers, okay, wasn't this
any company with a side effect of death or anything close to it, especially, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's murder. If a drug dealer, because if a drug dealer got some bad dope that's killing motherfuckers, that's definitely how they charge them. So they should be charging them pharmaceuticals the same motherfucking way.
I'm sorry, ain't alcohol a drug?
How about, but we knew what he was talking about when he said drug dealers.
Well, hold on,
it was a low level drug though.
Ain't sugar a drug? What are we talking about here? I mean, cigarettes, tobacco. Ain't tobacco a drug?
Coffee.
All of these. So you're saying any foreign substance,
gambling,
that I take and I put in my body that kills me, whoever sold it to me should get the death penalty. I need Pepsi. I need Coke. I need Hershey. Whoever make honey buns. I need McDonald's. I need Wendy's. I need Burger King. It's a bunch of motherfuckers getting the death penalty in America tomorrow. I'm trying to tell you right now, man. Who makes the things that I see? Vapes. That's a drug, right? How do we define drug? How do we define drug? So when I think automatically when you hear drug dealer, who's the first person you think of? You think of a black dude, right? You think of a black dude with some gold chains in the ghetto driving in the Benz, right? That's the stereotypical, death penalty for them, those savage niggers, right? No. Dr. Agarsky, Dr. Steinberg, who writing out the scripts, right? Go to the NFL. Right. Go to the NFL and start telling them boys they can't have their drugs no more. Y'all won't be, I bet y'all won't be cheering. It won't be no Super Bowl no more. How you think these sports are played, right? Look at Bobby Portis. 25 games he's suspended for, well, they say accidentally taking a pain medication. How do you think these sports, how do you think they continue to perform at a high level? Drugs, motherfucker. Horses who run races for your entertainment at the Kentucky Derby. Drugs. So when he started talking about death penalty, see, somebody might say, that's going to affect black people because we deal drugs. Well, that sounds like you saying it ain't no white drug dealers. See, once again, if you are what you always say, what Ewoks say, if you grin, you in. So if you believe that's going to affect black people because drug dealers going to get the death penalty, it's on us on how we allow them to define drugs. Because you can't take me to jail for selling crack when, like I said, Pfizer is not going to jail when it's thousands upon thousands of teenagers overdosing every day on their medication. Let me see. Let me catch the chat room. Jasmine said, didn't he just pardon an ex-drug dealer? Drug dealers are getting pardoned every day.
That's the lady Sandra Johnson who I was talking about.
That's the drugs are? That's her? Okay.
That's what I was just talking about. He pardoned her a while back though. Like when he was in office before, back in 2020, he gave her a pardon. And then this time, now he's saying she's gonna be the czar, the pardon czar. I mean, this is what I read.
Ain't that the lady who Kim Kardashian, she rallied her to get pardoned, I think.
I don't know about
the lady that Kim Kardashian. Yeah,
I don't know either because I didn't have when Kamar asked the question, I didn't have enough information on her. I try not to speak on things I don't know. If you watch, I'm real strategic about it. Like, well, let me go and do some research. I want to be spreading misinformation, which I'm gonna talk about next. Mama Jenkins said it be those white boys. It'll be the white boy drug dealers, and Earl Henning said the commercial drug dealers. Now we got you, Jazz, when she said she was driving, but then Trump yes, he did. He's pardoned several. You think about it like this. Rayful Edmonds, who a lot of people don't know who Rayful Edmonds was. He died, but he was one of the biggest drug dealers on the East Coast in the 80s.
He was in Washington, D.C.
In D.C. Big Meech is free. Freeway Ricky Ross is the real Ricky Ross is free.
He gave some of his time back. Trump had nothing to do with it.
I'm just saying some of the biggest drug dealers in the history of our country have already been pardoned. They've already been released from jail. So now you're gonna say now we're gonna start giving them the death penalty. It's kind of like twisted logic. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
A lot of those drug dealers benefited from the time cut when Obama was in office because they said that basically it was no distinguish between crack cocaine and powder, because you remember crack you would get way more time than powder.
Right.
But But my whole thing is this though too. Trump is part of the executive branch, which is a federal. It has nothing to do with state and local. Nothing at all.
There we go.
Nothing at all. So he can pardon everybody he wants federally. It has nothing to do with the state. That's why when we do our pardon applications, Tony Evers got to look over and grant a pardon.
But Dion,
whatever state you what?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you to the point where I was going to say, even when it comes to the death penalty, not all states have the death penalty. So
exactly.
So a state can say, "Nah, we're not doing that. We're not going to." And people forget that states have.
Hey, I was just finna say that I'm sure they're gonna put some kind of parameters on it. Like maybe it is just federal drug dealers who we talking about. Like we don't know. We really don't got no specifics yet. That was just something that just hit the surface.
That's one of the more something he threw up in the air. Yeah, it's some.
And I wasn't jumping on you about it, Kamar. It was just like I seen that shit a while ago, bro. I don't pay no attention to nothing, especially nothing like that. Like right now, he cut money from Ukraine. I know about that. I looked at how he talked to President Zelensky. I know why the United States is in depth with Ukraine and the reasons of that. But like shit like that, I don't pay no attention to that.
It's all good.
I believe that lady.
And that's all good, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, neither one of us voted for him. So you know what I mean? Hey, it don't mean shit. I just talked to black people. It's Black History Month, so I spoke about a black lady who this motherfucker put in there, and it surprised the fuck out of me. If you watch the video, you will see how it surprised the fuck out of me. I was talking about it. I even said a known racist would do this. Like, I'm tripping. I just reported the story, man. That's it.
Yeah, I wasn't jumping down. I wasn't, arguing with you jumping down here. So, you know what I'm saying? Look, when I try to bring information to this channel and inform things, I try to come as factual as I can. You know what I'm saying? Because like I be entrenched in this shit, and that's why I be telling people. So that's just like when I was listening to you guys with CRT. I wanted to comment on that, but you started talking about something else, Kevin. And I feel like it's very important for white people to know our history. And the reason I feel like it's important for white people to know our history is those white people gonna grow up with our children or our great-grandchildren or our grandchildren. They have to be empathetic. See, these white people, and even if they know our history and not empathetic, it's still they know something about us. Because white people look at us and they will swear up and down to God. They'll go talk to Jesus Christ and say, well, you guys, y'all are just lazy. And, it's violence plagued in y'all community. They don't understand about COINTELPRO. They don't understand about redlining. They don't understand none of that. They just think it's lack of motivation on our behalf. They're not like say for instance, like they'll always give you this prime example, right? A looting. They said black people doing it like say when Hurricane Katrina, they were looting. White people were trying to survive, they're just trying to get survival stuff. So they'll always demonize us. You feel what I'm saying? They'll demonize us in every which way. So I will want the future white generations to maybe one, maybe two, maybe three, maybe 1,000 to be empathetic and understand that we had a whole system and it's still standing on our neck. You cannot. That's just like me and you trying to pull the Sears Tower down. They give us a screwdriver and a hammer and tell us to tear it down. Nigga, it'll take forever. We might find a way to tear that motherfucker down with a screwdriver and a hammer, but it's going to take forever. So that's what we're up against. And maybe if we could find a few people to be sympathetic, be like, well, that's just like when I hear people talk about DEI. We don't understand how deep DEI went. It went for handicapped people, blind people, fat people, gay people, white women, Mexican people, black people. It was for people where the majority of because these white motherfuckers really don't want to let you in. We can sit up there and play this game and talk about, well, if I get in on my merit, they don't give a fuck about your merit. You see how Trump put all them I can't think of the word now, but those people don't have any experience in the field that they in. He just demoted. They just fired, what was that, a 5-star admiral? They don't give a fuck about your merit. What they want is white people put in these positions of authority. We ain't gonna talk about Cash Patel because a motherfucker sit up there and be like, well, Cash Patel not white. And fuck, that be the little loophole that motherfucker bring. Well, Cash Patel not white. Cash Patel got Donald Trump's dick so deep in his throat that Donald Trump can't even find it no more. You feel what I'm saying? So DEI and certain things like that, they are meant to help people, man.
Okay, so
I don't give a fuck.
So check this out.
Go ahead. Hold on. Let me make one more thing. You might not then use the FHA loan to buy your house. You and your wife probably had y'all probably got a conventional loan. I use the FHA loan to buy my house. So just because a program doesn't benefit me, that doesn't mean I just want to say, fuck the program, all DEI, blah, 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 blah. You understand what I'm saying? That's why Carter G. Woodson wrote The Miseducation of the Negro. All right, go ahead, Kev. I'm going to mute you because I'm rolling down the highway.
Here's the most beautiful thing about what you said. Because what I said was, if we want our kids to know our history, we need to teach it to them, right? And some of the greatest lessons that a white person ever got about Black history came from me to them directly. I went to school with white people in North Dakota and Montana and Minnesota, some southwestern Minnesota. They didn't know what the fuck Black history was. They had no clue what it was. They had no clue. But I knew my history. So anytime we sat down and had a conversation, I gave it to them straight lace. And even if they say, I didn't know that, Kevin. I didn't know that. You know what they did after they got done talking to me? They went and looked it up and found out I was telling the truth. And they came back and said, oh my God, Kevin, I didn't know. They didn't tell us that. I know you didn't. I'm telling you because I know my history. So if you talking about they got to know something about us to be empathetic. No, they don't. You got to know something about you so you can tell them, so you can set them straight. So you can say, listen, man, this is the real deal for my people in this country. And it's undeniable and undebatable. Go look it up. And they're going to have to come back to you and say, oh my God, Kevin, you know what? We didn't learn this. We didn't learn this in the River Hill School District. I'm so sorry. Because the truth is undeniable and it's also undefeated. So it ain't about them being empathetic to us because they can learn the slave masters were the ones enacting the slavery upon us and they wasn't empathetic. So where does empathy going to come from because they know about us? The greatest explanation of somebody comes from them. That's like me asking somebody, why Kamar do this? Instead of saying, Kamar, why you do that? Because if I ask you, you're going to tell me, Kev, this is why I did it. The other person going to say, I don't know, man. I think I had heard they said if you want the truth, you get it from the source. And so it's our responsibility. I don't care what nobody says. It's our responsibility to teach our kids what they know. Just like
I agree with you.
Hold on. Like you said, let me make my point. Just like it's our responsibility to make sure our kids know how to read. I would love to blame it on the public school system. I would love to blame it on the government. But the fact of the matter is I blame us because what we have right now is what we call generational illiteracy. You have generations of parents or families who are illiterate. Now, once again, I'm going to go back to this sister from Mississippi that I used to call Mama. She wasn't the greatest reader in the world, right? She knew how to read to survive, to live. But you know what she did for me? She made sure I knew how to read on the next level. She made sure of it. She enforced that. You will learn how to. You're going to be strong where I wasn't. I made it this far so I can pass you the baton. It's our responsibility. I knew how to read before I went to school. When I walked in K5, I was reading. They gave me that bullshit ass book, See Dick and Jane. I ran through that shit so bad the teacher got scared and wouldn't call my mother. This is all true. Did you know he can? My mother said, yeah, I know he can read. Shit, I'm the one who showed him. I was 3 levels ahead of myself in kindergarten. And this is from a cotton picking sharecropper. So it is your responsibility to make sure that your child can read. I'm not going to blame the white man for that. It's your responsibility to make sure your kid goes to school. I'm not blaming the white man for a 50% truancy rate in MPS. I'm not. I might be wrong for that, but I'm not. Everybody can't parent like you. Yeah, that's a cop-out. Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't do that. I hear people say that, everybody can't. Everybody didn't have it. You're making excuses because even if you hadn't in the past, you need to do it right now. We need to start telling people, even if you didn't have this, you need to start doing it for your children. No more excuses, man. Let me go to my chat room. Who is this? This is Ewok. He said Trump pardoned 2 rapists too and allowed them back in America. Hell, don't he got some accused child molesters in his cabinet? One dude is drug usage and child molestation, all kinds of shit. Underage girls. Who is this? This is Earl Henny. Earl Henny said Kim gave him some pussy. I don't know who is he? Somebody said Kim Kardashian. Earl Henny said she gave him some pussy. I don't know. He said Paul Mooney. He wasn't talking about Paul Mooney getting none. Tiarsha Arthur, how you doing? How you doing, my sister? She said, good evening, Kevin, Kamar, and Dion, and the Outlaw family. Hey. Mama Jenkins said most of them had never saw a black person in North Dakota. I'm trying to tell you, Mama Jenkins, what they saw, and I went in the 90s, they saw rap music videos, right? And here's the kicker. A lot of them, a couple of them even asked me, so Kevin, are you from the hood? I'm like, yeah, I'm from the hood. Did you live in the projects? Hell no. We owned our house. Our house was bigger than the one you grew up in. My parents owned a brick house on Capitol Drive. What are you talking about? But it is the hood because that was our neighborhood. I didn't want the hood, wasn't the slums. It's the difference between the slums and the hood. You see what I'm saying? And the hood doesn't have to be a slum. They didn't know that. They had never seen it. They had so many questions for me that it was just ridiculous. I used to laugh at them like, y'all white people, y'all is crazy. But they lived in a part of the country where it wasn't none of us. So they didn't know. They didn't know about Black History Month. You know what they knew about Martin Luther King? He loved everybody. He had a dream. How'd that work out when you grew up and never been around a black person before? How did it work out? Earl Henning said, I went to school in White Bear Lake, Minnesota Junior College. I don't know what because they've changed the name of it, Earl, now, White Bear Lake. I don't know what they call it, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Because up there, once you get past the Twin Cities, Western Minnesota, Southern Minnesota is just like Northern Wisconsin. Once you get away from the Twin Cities, it turns into Wisconsin. It turns into Iowa. It ain't much black out that way, right? Like you ain't, the further northwest you go, the whiter it gets, right?
But don't you think if they were educated a little bit, then how they interacted with you be a little bit different though? You know what I'm saying?
Educated about who? So a white person, hold on, I'm sorry. A white person is supposed to teach them black history. There's no black people out there. So is a white person supposed to teach them black history?
You got some white people that specialize in black history.
Who? Listen, let me tell you something. If my child to tell me daddy is my black history teacher and it's a white person, I'm taking him or her out the car.
I'm coming to teach that motherfucker my motherfucking self.
I will be a parent volunteer.
No, but I'm asking you though, because okay, say for instance, right? And I want to ask you a question. Are you afraid of snakes?
Afraid. Let's say when you say afraid, like, do I have a phobia of snakes?
No, not a phobia. If you see a snake, would you have fear of it? Would you try to kill it? What would you try to do?
I'm gonna avoid it. I'm not gonna run and scream, but I'm like, damn, that's a snake. I'm going the other way.
Well, myself, I'm not afraid of snakes, because you know I own big pythons.
Right.
So people that are not afraid, people that are afraid of something, they have no knowledge of it. Like people will be like, ain't the snake slimy? Snake ain't fucking slimy. You understand what I'm saying? So that my knowledge of snakes gave me limited fear. Now I'm not gonna say I like all snakes, because I know some snakes are harmful. It's venomous and you got poison. Two different ways they inject you with venom. So maybe if white people had a little bit of knowledge about it, not the Martin Luther King and all of the glorified shit, but just a little bit of knowledge, maybe that'll make them less fearful of us. maybe that'll make them more accepting of us. You understand what I'm saying?
No,
just a little bit, because a lot of them, they resent us because they are not accepting of us. Like I was listening to something.
Hey, you know what?
Accepting, yes.
I kind of feel what he's saying, right? I kind of feel what he's saying, because I always said this. Right? Different races, all the different races out here, like we should know about each other. You know what I mean? Because like different races have different cultures. Like what we do here may be disrespectful to somebody else. So in a sense, you know what I mean? We should know about each other's cultures. I mean, I think that would be better for us all. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't think Black history in school would teach them what they need to know about us as far as how to deal with us. You know what I mean? I think it's just going to show them slavery. It's going to show them Martin Luther King, the couple speeches. You know what I'm saying? It ain't going to, I don't think that's going to do too much. I think it's more effective when we teach. Like now, how you got different people who be out here talking on the internet. You know what I mean? They teach this different stuff. There's different scholars who do this. But I feel like the stuff that we need our kids to know about our history, we got to teach them, because white people don't even know it to teach them. The stuff I learned, my mama didn't even know. You know what I mean? The school teacher, and my favorite teacher in high school, she was the African American history teacher, right? But she didn't know the stuff that I know now. You know what I'm saying? And the stuff that I know now is the stuff that I instill into my kids. I don't care about showing her slavery and shit. You know what I'm saying? I teach her the better way of thinking about how our ancestors had, about how we kept ourselves well, how we treated ourselves, how we loved each other, how we loved ourselves, and different shit like that. You know what I mean? Traditionally is what I teach. And ain't no way in hell it's going to come from the school. So I'm really not upset about Black history in school. Maybe it'll be a different class that's more important for them to learn to get. Maybe they'll put home ec back in the motherfucker, or driver's ed or something.
But I'm not talking about Black history for us. I'm talking about Black history for them. But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What?
You honestly believe that in Helena, Montana, they're going to teach Black history in an all-white high school, and it's going to make white people more accepting of niggas in Chicago and Milwaukee? That's what you believe?
I didn't say it to make all of them, but maybe it might make.
You think it's gonna make any of that? Why do we need it? Why do we? Listen, I don't need white people to accept me. I don't need for them. Hold on. This is a flaw. I don't need to be friends with white people. I don't need them to understand my struggle. You know what I need them to do? I need them to share the opportunities that they have, because I'm a human.
But they won't.
Black History Month is not going to make them share those opportunities. That's not going to do it, because guess what? Everybody got a television. Everybody got books. Everybody has the internet. When I was in North Dakota, they didn't even have BET. But you know what? They all loved Snoop. They loved rap music. When we came to the party, oh my God. Oh, guys, do you have? Yeah, we got a Snoop CD. Put that motherfucker in. Put Dr. Dre in. They love that shit. They didn't even have BET. What I'm telling you is we keep worrying about them accepting us. We keep worrying about, I want you to have empathy for me, instead of focusing on us. See, if we had our own shit, we wouldn't be worried about them accepting us.
But what makes you think that we could create our own shit when they got all the resources?
Well, hold on.
Cut off money, if they cut off money today.
You're a person who talks about Black Wall Street. We celebrate.
I don't talk about Black Wall Street.
I've heard you reference Black Wall Street before.
You might have heard me reference it in Wilmington, North Carolina.
You referenced it because those are instances of us having our own, and they destroyed it. Now, we got the power right now to create our own, instead of saying we can't do nothing. We can't do nothing. We keep saying we can't. If you keep saying you can't, you ain't gonna never be able to do it.
I'm really trying to catch hold of what you're saying, though, because
you can't catch hold of what I'm saying because you don't believe in the concept of us having our own. You don't believe in that.
I agree to disagree, because I tell you this, right? If tomorrow them white people said currency is no longer void. It's void. It's over. You can have $1 million in the bank. It don't mean shit. And now they only have the resources to have the money that they need.
If they say currency is void, it affects them too. What are you talking about?
Hold on. We talking about, hold on. If they say currency is void, boom, it don't mean nothing. And then they only give out the resources to people that look like them. What can we do with us?
That makes no sense what you just said. You just said
I mean, it has happened.
Hold on. You just said currency is void. You just said if we wake up tomorrow, money ain't no good.
Yes. It ain't no good.
Then in essence, they're gonna start giving stuff away because money ain't no good, right?
Well, hold on.
That's what you're saying.
You also heard me say they pass out resources to people that looks like them.
For free?
Well, now what can we do?
They give it away for free?
They're watching out for their own. So what can we do?
They give it away free. That's what you're saying. They give right now.
To their people.
No, they sell it away. They sell it to their own people. They're
giving
prices.
it to their own people.
No, because giving and selling is two different things. There's no way they're gonna say currency is void and then they start giving stuff to. Because if currency is void, then that takes away their power. Because the only power they have over us is they have more money than us. So if they say currency is void, it affects them too. That's a seriously silly argument. If they say money ain't no good tomorrow, what we gonna do? What they gonna do if money ain't no good tomorrow?
We could sit up here and be like, well, we could try to do this on our own and do this, that, and the other. But we don't have the resources. We don't create anything that we need for our everyday lives.
Let's do nothing. So fuck it then. Let's not even try.
Let's quit. He ain't got no hope for it.
with regular tissue. No, it ain't about us.
So let's quit. So let's give up then.
See, you keep on trying to come up with these scenarios.
No, I'm saying I'm going with what you're saying. There's nothing we can do. So let's give up. Let's quit. We can't have our own. There's no way we could ever have our own. Kamar, close down your store. I want everybody else out there who's trying to do anything. Stop it. Just stop because we can't.
If they not, listen, man. Listen, like I said, and you could think one way that you want to. I'm gonna think how I want to. We have to have some type of acceptance from them people in order to live on this earth, regardless however you want to see it, regardless of whatever you say. I don't need to be accepted by them. They have to feel comfortable with us, because they could come in our communities because we're segregated. They could cut off your internet. They could cut off your cell phone. They cut off your electricity.
Based on the fact,
water.
They can limit you.
Based on the fact that I'm black, no type of movement.
Based on the fact that I'm black, they can just say
they don't want our money no more. And so they ain't gonna want our money.
Hold on, go ahead, Kamar. Go ahead, Kamar.
I was just wanted to ask, so they ain't gonna want our money if they cut off all that stuff. That means they ain't getting our money.
Right.
That's what they need. Why would they do that?
Your money if they want to exterminate
you. When has there ever been a situation where a black man's money, he had the money, but they would, no, we ain't fucking with you because but that's never happened. That's never happened. What are you talking about? They're not gonna tell me I can't have the internet because I'm black and I got the money to pay the bill.
Okay,
it's always been rich.
When did that happen? When has that happened?
It's been rich niggas all through history.
They just said we're not going to deport immigrants. They're not going to deal with the public education system, Department of Education. They're not going to.
Well, that's not. That's a whole different. Okay. That's a different thing.
We gonna sit up here and gonna say what
I want
they
you
can't
to tell
do.
me. I want you to tell me. When has it ever been a situation where a black person who had the money, now we say housing wise, but they wouldn't let you move in certain places, but you could still buy a house. I got credit, but I can't go get a Ferrari because they ain't gonna say niggas can't buy Ferraris. If my credit is right and I got that money, I'm gonna get me a Ferrari from somewhere. I want you to tell me when they said no electricity for niggas. We don't care if you got the money or what. When does that happen?
Listen, what I'm telling you is,
I want you to answer the question.
Do whatever
you just
they
told
want
me it's
to
happened
do.
before. When has it happened? When did that
happen? It has happened when they when they dropped the bombs on Move in Philadelphia. They cut all communication off from them people.
Wait.
And isolated them people in that apartment building and dropped bombs on them people.
They didn't.
You understand
Dion,
what I'm
they
saying?
didn't tell them. They didn't tell you them. Y'all can't have just on the strength that y'all
They don't
black.
have to do it.
They didn't say just on the strength that you black. We cutting your electricity off. There was a situation. It was unjust what they did with Move. It was unjust, but it was a situation that happened.
Who said we dealing with some just people? Well, only thing I can say is this: I feel one way, you feel the next.
Yeah.
Because check it out, right?
Because I still think black people.
Power.
I still think black people can do whatever.
The Jews had spending power too, and Hitler didn't give a fuck about their money. He put them.
That's not America. You said Hitler. That's 100 years ago in Europe.
What's the difference between these white people that hung us, murdered us, tortured us, to say one day they can put cars in there, turn our ghettos into concentration camps, starve us out, cut our water off, our gas. So they don't give a fuck about that money.
Let me get this straight. You're comparing 1930 Germany post-World War I that was decimated and Hitler was able to move in and seize control to 2025 North America. That's what you're comparing. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. If Hitler was able to get the Jews, if Hitler was able to do that to the Jews in Germany, like your logic is lopsided. Like because
we gonna agree to disagree.
You can take
because no matter what I say, you're gonna try to refute something. I'm gonna come back with it. They don't give a fuck about our money. They don't care.
They don't care about our money. They don't care about our money. So we don't need to do no. So we don't need to do boycotts.
Federal workers.
So we don't need to do. We don't need to do boycotts.
We're not gonna lay the black federal workers off because they got this much spending power. It was white and black people that lost their jobs in that federal layoff. They don't give a fuck about the money.
But you said black. We're talking black. You are the one who said specifically, if we woke up in the morning and money wasn't no good, a nigga couldn't have the internet.
And that's what I'm telling you, that if they wanted, basically the conversation started when I said we have to have some level of acceptance from white people. You said, no, we don't.
I don't think white people got to accept us I don't think white people have to accept us for us to be able to build within ourselves. White people don't have to accept us for us to build our own communities. All
right.
Hold on. Let me get my chat room. Earl Henning said 380 9mm AR-15. Earl, what you talking about? You naming calibers of bullets.
They could tell Earl they could stop bullets.
Mama Jenkins said, Kev, I agree with you on teaching your children to read, but now it's a different world. Our parents was from the South and their values of life was different then. Today, parenting is on the job training, but homes today are lost and have been destroyed by the system. A child can't raise a child. There's no more big mama or granddaddy. Definitely the dynamics of the family has changed. We know that, Mama Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, I'm not even. It was only one Ida. I know that. Like there's no. My mama was my mama. Like I totally understand the uniqueness, and anybody who knew her will tell you they don't make them like that no more. My point in that is, if we were so concerned, when you're concerned about something, you do something about it. So collectively as a people, if we were so concerned, we would start our own literacy programs. When you look at the Panthers, they were concerned about children that were hungry, so they started a breakfast program. They were concerned about the lack of valuable medical care and viable medical care in the community, so they started their own clinics. When you are concerned, you start your own movements. We can talk about it, but if we ain't concerned about it, we ain't gonna do nothing about it. Ernest is agreeing with you. He said, Dion, right, if the president of Ukraine didn't need American help, Trump wouldn't have talked to him like that. Okay. Of course, Ukraine, when you got billions of dollars of aid, that's something else too. Are you mad that they ain't giving Ukraine money? Like, I'm not that upset. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ukraine. But you have a
never gave a fuck about us.
Right. You're neo-Nazis. Most people don't even know Ukrainians. Neo-Nazism is a way of life for them. I think I'm upset because Ukraine. Now, he didn't have to disrespect him, man. There's a such thing as diplomacy. Right? Maybe if he'd got to know him, like Dion said, and said, I understand you. I'm empathetic to you. Trump ain't give a fuck. Why you ain't got no suit on? Get the fuck out of here. Like, no, they disrespected him. There's no need for that.
And you know what? If he knew why he didn't wear no suit, he would have never made that comment.
He knew.
The man don't wear no. He probably don't know. He don't. Do you know why he don't wear no suit?
I don't, but I didn't have him at my house either.
He don't wear no suit because he's standing with his colleagues out there on the battlefield.
Cool.
You understand what I'm saying? It's like a statement.
That's
He
cool.
said, "What the fuck I look like running around here in tailored suits when I got people out there dying on the front line?"
That's very admirable.
In the whole country of Ukraine is a neo-Nazi. That's just like we got neo-Nazis here in America.
And I don't give a fuck about them either. So if they lose any benefit, you ain't gonna hear me crying for them.
There's reasons why though.
Right. Tiarsha said, but we need their minerals, so the clan leader and Vance might have messed up. What we need from Ukraine? What do we get from Ukraine? Somebody tell me what's Ukraine's GDP? What's their gross domestic product? Like, what are they doing? What do they send us? I've never looked. I look on the labels and shit all the time. I've never looked and it said made in Ukraine.
I've seen shit. I've seen stuff that I bought like clothing items that said made in Croatia though.
I said Ukraine. I said Ukraine. Dude, Kamar, you know
Croatia and Ukraine used to be part of the Soviet Union.
I know they did, but we talking about Ukraine. Kamar, what you got that's made? What? I'm sorry. Correct. I can be corrected. Okay. I didn't know we
made Ukraine. I ain't got shit made Ukraine. I don't even know what they do. I don't even know what their resource is.
Yeah. Okay. Go to a Ukrainian community and say, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And you think they're gonna give you a warm welcome with your black ass?
Hey, listen to what you just said though. I don't know nothing about Ukraine. Want me to tell you why? Because we weren't taught about Ukraine.
I said I don't know about what they produce. What do we trade with them? You tell me what they trade. What they send over there.
I don't know nothing about Ukraine. I don't know nothing about Ukraine.
Okay then, nigga. What's wrong with me saying it then?
I know I bought shoes. I know I bought shoes that's made in Taiwan. I know I bought stuff that's made in the Philippines.
What's wrong with me saying it?
You feel what I'm saying?
But
that's just like last night.
What's wrong with me saying it,
What you say?
I said, what's wrong with me saying that?
I'm giving prime examples, though. We don't know shit about Ukraine because we weren't taught about Ukraine.
And don't care. I don't care about Ukraine.
But that's the whole thing.
That's why we saying we don't care about Ukraine.
It's probably a white motherfucker sitting back like, shit, I don't give a fuck about them niggas.
And they don't. And I know that. And I'm cool with that.
Here, how about this? How about this? Tell me why I should care about Ukraine. Tell me how the dots connect, how this could fall back to me.
Well, if Russia succeeds in taking over Ukraine, then that means he could conquer Europe. If he conquer Europe, then that means he's getting a lot of land back. It could lead into World War III. Just because the United States don't, because guess what? The United States wasn't involved in World War II. It was Great Britain versus Germany, but somehow the United States got up in there. You feel what I'm saying?
Dion,
so it all could be a domino effect.
Are you factually saying that Ukraine is the linchpin for Russia taking over Europe? Come on now, think about that statement.
Okay, if they take over Ukraine, what's stopping them from taking over Croatia? What's stopping them from taking over Poland? You understand what I'm saying? Like if you look at the map, those little countries are damn near linked together.
But they're not at war with those countries as we speak.
They went at war with Ukraine back in 2012.
But they are now, though. But they are now. There's been a back and forth. I don't know. You gotta prove to me that Ukraine is the linchpin for taking over Europe. You have to.
Not only that,
that's not a factual statement. That's not a factual.
But I'm gonna tell you this, right? I'm gonna give you a small example. I'm gonna give you a small example.
Why should I give a fuck about Ukraine?
Man, listen, bro. You ain't gotta give a fuck about Alaska, Illinois, goddamn 35th Street, you know? I mean, it is what it is. But I'm going to tell you this, right? I was talking to a coworker. Now, I'm going to tell you how shit is different. And the shit fucked me up a little bit, right? So I'm talking to a coworker. I asked her, was she Puerto Rican? No, she was Dominican. So I got to talking about Haiti. This woman said that she's afraid of the Haitians. She said, I don't know why they got land over there. They just won't grow. And I had to really break that shit down to her. You feel what I'm saying? I had to really. So she has a European state of mind because you guys, that's just like the Wisconsin. People don't give a fuck about. Wait, hold on. People don't give a fuck about Milwaukee, but Milwaukee funds is 40% of this state revenue. But if something happened to Milwaukee, where Milwaukee weren't producing that 40%, this other part of the other part of Wisconsin to give fuck. So me sitting up there seeing her flinch because Haiti and Dominican Republic they the same island. It's just a line. One was colonialized by the Spaniards, one was colonialized by the French. But she didn't know anything about them. She didn't know that they just got through paying reparations to France. She didn't know that Bill Clinton and went over there, kidnapped their president, had their president executed, putting corrupt people in their government. So she's looking at them like they're living in squalor, violence, all of this. But these people economy is being drained because they've been paying, because their ancestors fought for their freedom, and they've been paying France reparations in the United States, which is a juggernaut in the world. They had their foot on their neck. But when you go over to the Dominican, they're prosperous. Land of milk and honey, goddamn waterfalls, people taking vacations there, motherfuckers going to get their ass done there. You feel what I'm saying? These people are the same people that just speak different languages.
I gotta go with Kamar and saying I don't get where it connects the dots, because guess what?
Well, listen, I was just giving you an example.
Well, guess what? Guess what? I don't care about Haiti or the Dominican Republic. Now, hold on. Let me go to the chat room. Earl Henning said, hey, man, why didn't you tell me that they don't care about my money before I pay my mortgage? Ewok said, Kev, I use that to make a point, and Elon Musk doesn't wear suits. Okay, got point taken. It's so much we could say about Elon Musk. I think the whole argument that we spin in here is, I think where my stance is, I'm more worried about us than I am about anybody else. I'm more concerned about what's going on with us. I'm a delineator. Everybody's not a delineator. I care about black people. I'm not trying to go outside the country and look at nobody else's condition, because nobody ever came in here and gave a fuck about ours. I am not crying for Ukrainians when he's frozen aid to Africa, South Africa, and Africa, period. So I'm really not crying about Ukraine. And to be honest with you, Native Africans don't give a shit about foundational Black Americans either. So I'm not really, my tears only go so far for them. I'm more concerned that there are people who are foundational Black Americans who are disillusioned as to what we can actually do if we had solidarity. It concerns me more that we got people who don't believe our unity is important and that it's useless for us to be strong amongst each other. I'm more concerned that people feel like, hey, man, as a Black man, nothing I can do will ever work. There's no way I can succeed, so fuck it. I believe that leads to what the white people used to call, or what the old people used to call a reprobated mind. You basically give up on any hope at all and just say, oh, well, fuck it. I'm going to forever be optimistic that we can, because we've done so many great things. Our people, in spite of what we've been put up against, we've done so many great things, right? At one point, our community was so solid that we was able to persevere through slavery, Jim Crowism, and even the crack epidemic. There's a lot of Black families who circled the wagons and said, no, I ain't going to let this kill us. We're going to do what we need to do to survive and make it through this. But now we get to the point where we say, it don't even matter. We can't do shit. Fuck it. I need for them to accept me. I need for the white man to love me so I can succeed. And I'm being kind of sarcastic, but I'm being serious as well. We got more. It's Black people who don't even got love and respect for themselves. And we worried about white people respecting us. It's Black people who don't know their own history. We worried about white people knowing our history. That's where we at in 2025. Come on, man. Tiarsha's giving us an answer. She said Ukraine exports agricultural minerals, energy, metals, fruit, juice, etc. to America. What juice comes from Ukraine? I want to know. I'm not being facetious here. What juice is? What juice? Minerals, maybe some metals. What juice? Come on, you muted. What juice comes from Ukraine? What fruit? What fruit?
I was laughing, man. I was laughing. But as far as juice, we need to be making our own juice anyway. So we don't need that shit. And then like my thing is, even I ain't knocking it, but even if we did get this stuff from them, I wonder how much could we actually be getting from them? You know what I mean? It couldn't be too much. if he don't give a fuck about what he getting back?
Okay, here we go. I wanted to answer, so I got it. In 2022, that's 2022, 1.5 billion in U.S. imports from Ukraine. The top commodity sectors were base metals, iron, steel, agricultural products, and machinery and mechanical appliances. And that was in 2022. So out of all the things we just named, there was nothing that we can't provide for ourselves. Therefore, we don't. I guarantee you. Now that said what, 5 billion, 1.5 billion? Let me find it again, because we've been giving them hundreds of billions of dollars in aid for the last 5 years. So if we took that money and shopped somewhere else, or either did it ourselves, we don't need Ukraine. Let me get it again. 1.5 billion. We've been giving them hundreds of billions of dollars. That's ass backwards hustling. So whatever juice we do,
we need it, we buy it. At that point, it's like and at that point, shit, if you're saving hundreds of billions of dollars, at that point, shit, if we need something from you, we'll buy it.
Exactly. That's just my way of thinking. I'm not an economist. I don't see why we need Ukraine. It's a global, this is a global economy. If we got to give you hundreds of billions of dollars in aid for what, $2 billion worth of fruit, when we got land, I forgot, we put all the Mexicans out who would pick the fruit. So we got to get it from Ukraine.
Right. They probably ain't even got that much stuff.
Well, they ain't got it now. That shit burnt up and blown up. So I'd like to know what they really import now. Russia done blew that shit up. They've been fighting though. Earl Henny said, "Hey, Milwaukee paid 65% to get back 40%." Vince Tony said, "Kev, those are facts about our people." Ewok says, "If it wasn't nothing there, Donald Trump wouldn't want it." Obviously, he don't want it. He just kicked a president. Donald Trump is fucking up the economy because of the tariffs, right? Like, this is about to be, it's about to be crazy. I'm not a pro-Trumper, y'all. I'm not. I don't want it to come off that way. My only point is, I don't give a shit about Ukraine. So once again, I'm more worried about the north side of Milwaukee. When I see teenagers, we have an epidemic of violence amongst young black males in this city. We have an income disparity in Milwaukee. Okay. Our median income is $29,500 and theirs is $60,000, and it's getting greater. And we have super high illiteracy rates amongst black children compared to their suburban counterparts. I'm worried about that. And I don't think that them learning black history in Oconomowoc is going to make them more empathetic to us. I don't. And you could take whatever you want out of the schools. We have something now called the internet. Anything you want to know is there. We got YouTube. We got social media. You got whole pages dedicated to things. There's no excuse not to know anything about something right now. Just like we didn't know what Ukraine did. All I did was just Google it, Kamar. It popped right up. All the information popped right up. So if we're worried about them taking critical race theory out of the schools, maybe we should Google it for our kids instead of letting them, because they know what's going on with little baby. They know what's going on, whether Big Meech is a rat or not. They know how to find that paperwork. They know where to get switches from to put on Glocks. They know that. But when you say sit down and write,
I used to give my daughter these different social topics to go look up and write me a little report about it. Tell me what she think.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just felt like that just let me know so much. It gave me so much insight on where her head was at. You know what I'm saying? And like that was a thing. Like that was a thing about teaching her. See, like now, you know what I mean? She looks shit up when she sees stuff going on. You know what I mean? Like this. And I wasn't ever this type, you know what I mean? But she do it because I did that type stuff. So it's different stuff that we have to instill in our kids to make them want to learn shit. You know what I mean? To take shit even farther. Cause see, like the schools we talked about the taking the Black history out the school. You know what I mean? They wasn't teaching nothing but slavery anyway.
This is true.
Our kids really don't even need to see that shit. Let's just teach them what they need to do tomorrow, how to build themselves up. You know what I mean? Because that's where it's at. We talk like I say, I don't care about what's going on over in Ukraine because I'm more worried about what I have to do tomorrow.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? What's going to stop me from doing what I got to do tomorrow? That's what I need to figure out.
I'll
worry about that other shit later when they come to my doorstep. That's why I was saying, connect the dots for me. Tell me why I should be worried about it.
You can't.
I ain't arguing. I just asked the question. Again, I just asked the question. You know what I'm saying? Tell me why I should. Tell me why I should.
Everybody has their own opinion. I would hope, and at this point, it's redundant for me to say this. If you call into this show, or you're in the chat room, or you got some input, please understand it is your perspective, it is your opinion, and you're more than welcome to it. I wouldn't waste a dime trying to turn someone out. I'm not a pimp. It ain't my job to turn nobody out. I'm going to spit mine. You spit yours. We can walk away from the table with our hands up. This is not a situation where this is not a dictatorship. This is a conversation. This is a safe place for conversation amongst black men. If you agree with me, you agree with me. If you don't, you don't. We just had a Trump. We had two different kinds of Trump supporters, black Trump supporters call here. One called and he was being very sarcastic with his support of Trump, and he took shots and he was disrespectful. One called and was able to articulate perfectly why he voted for Trump and was like, hey, thanks for calling in. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So you could disagree with me all you want. You can have your own opinion. It don't turn into a problem until you start saying like, shut the fuck up, or your dumb ass don't know nothing, or use a sellout ass nigga and all this kind of, then it's like, okay, it's time for you to go bye-bye, right? Like, so anybody who has an opinion, you're more than welcome to it. Ain't nothing wrong with a friendly debate back and forth until it turns into, man, I slapped the shit out of you. Then it's like, whoa, let's stop right now and stop talking, because I don't no longer want. I'm gonna remove myself from this situation, which is why I always say when we get conversations going on here where everybody starts yelling and talking over everybody, I remove myself. Nobody's listening to nobody. So let's just cut it out. Let's just cut it off. So everybody's welcome to their opinion. I mean, if you like Ukraine and you think, hey, Ukraine has a lot of value, they make juice. Hey, that's fine, man. You go ahead and keep drinking your Ukrainian juice. Now y'all got me. Every time I drink something, I'm gonna have to look at the label and say, did this shit come from Ukraine? Tiarsha said the Klan leader followed Vance's lead, and I swear Vance is setting him up to look crazy so he can get him out of office. Look at prior videos of Vance talking about him like a mofo. Listen, I'm cool in watching white people destroy white people. I'm right now, I'm finding a lot of comfort in white dysfunction being played out before my very eyes. I really am. And they playing with house money. I think Trump is an idiot, but I think he's a genius as well. If you can be an idiot and a genius at the same time, I really do. I believe the way he's seized power is nothing short of genius. But I believe in terms of how he goes about making policy is idiotic. Like, why did you have to do an executive order to make English the official language of our country? Didn't we already know that we speak English in America? Like, maybe somebody got deeper understanding of this than me. This is a waste of time.
Is he saying you can't speak other languages here? Like, well, no, he ain't saying you can't speak them here. I read about this. I think it was more to the fact like companies don't have to hire people that can talk to them or something like that. Because remember, wasn't it something in the last couple presidencies where they got something started, or maybe in the Obama thing where they were saying companies had to hire people to cater to the different languages and shit?
I don't know that there's a language quota.
I think it may be something to that. I think it's something to that note, though.
I think it might be more towards companies being able to say, if you don't speak English, I'm not hiring you.
Right. Yeah, that may be it. That may be right.
And a lot of companies do. Right. There are some companies that do. I've had some experience of working for an organization that hired people who didn't speak English. And the only way we could communicate with them was through translators. And that's how we communicated with them. But they still hired them. Now, when they left this organization and they went to other places, it was hard to find them jobs because the other places said, if you can't speak English, we're not hiring you. So that's what I'm saying. That was already in place. Dion, do you got any information on the parameters of this making English?
They changed it is what I'm saying.
I'm
but what I'm saying is they changed
I'm sitting up here laughing. I'm sitting up here laughing because we just had this situation happen. This ain't got nothing to do about the English, but y'all sitting up here saying, well, what would happen if Ukraine, this, that, another? And I'm sitting up here, I'm reading this paper by this professor, and he was talking about how Ukraine, if Russia did take Ukraine, how millions of Ukrainians have to flee, and some of them come over here to the United States, and then we hear niggas talking about, well, they're not giving us anything, they're giving it all to the Ukrainians. But if the Ukrainians still have their motherfucking country, then we still ain't gonna get the money.
Is that what the professor said?
About them coming over here.
Is that what the professor said in his paper? Niggas gonna be complaining? Is that what he said?
No, but no, that's what niggas will do. That's what niggas will do.
So you paraphrased.
Yeah, niggas will do that though. Because if it's millions of Ukrainians fleeing, coming over here to the United States, and then it's going to be limited resources. What the Ukrainians coming over here, if they're starting businesses and they're in our community,
I want to ask you a question.
What's up?
Well, first of all, I want to say that at the start of this, America did take on Ukrainian refugees, a lot of them, right? But when have you heard black people complain about somebody taking our jobs?
Shit, every day we complain. We mad. We was mad because the Mexicans coming over here. The Venezuelans was getting resources. I'm not. We don't matter. We don't matter. If you go back and look on the internet,
we was mad that they was getting free money.
Okay, then what you think the Ukrainians gonna do?
You said taking our jobs. You said taking our jobs.
Listen, they're going to create their own jobs. They're going to get resources where we're not going to get them anyway. But they're going to get resources that's going to be allocated to them. We're not talking about me, you, and Kamar. We're going to be looking at more black people.
I'm talking about the black community. I've rarely heard the black community. I haven't heard the black community complain about illegal immigration. We don't complain about immigrants. You know who we complain about? We complain about Arabs, and we complain about people from other places who are allowed to come into our communities and start businesses and not give a fuck about the community. But even that is on us because we continue to spend our money with them.
Okay.
But black people
here in Milwaukee.
Black
over
people
there in Chicago. Oh, wait, hold on. Over there in Chicago, they were hot, nigga. Do you hear me? They were going in on Brandon Johnson, the mayor, about the Venezuelans coming over there, getting free getting free housing, getting resources. They having these cars. Motherfuckers was like,
but
my
not
girl
jobs,
was like, yeah,
though.
they'd come. They created their own jobs. My girl was like, they'd come here and, they need a translator. And then you'll see the receipt on their card. They got like 5 G's on their cards. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So if Russia takes Ukraine and then the United States take on some more Ukrainians, and then we're going to hear black people, regardless if it's the jobs, the resources, whatever, and we're going to be like, oh, they're coming over here taking our resources and this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 this. But you know what? If they still have their own country, because this is going to happen, it's going to happen, and then we're not getting, that could be reparations for us. Well, first of all, I don't think we ever going to get reparations. Let me tell you why. Because white people have no empathy for us. Let me tell you why they don't have no empathy for us. Because they don't know too much about us.
They don't take black history.
Yeah, exactly. You laughing, Kev? You laughing? But that shit is a domino effect, though, for real.
Wait, we'll never get black history. We'll never get reparations because white people don't take black history classes. Okay, I've never heard that before. Listen, Tiasha just said.
Hold on, I'm about to mute y'all because I gotta let these legs down.
Okay.
Oh, and then remember I told you I start the city on the 17th though. Yeah. But we'll talk about it at the end of the show.
Tiasha just said Kamar's right. Oh man. Hold on, man. Hold on. She said Kamar's right. The Klan leader basically saying the companies and the Department of Health and Social Services don't have to make the paperwork in different languages and have translators. Okay. Thank you, Tiasha. Thank you. You see that, Kamar? That's what. So she was saying you were right. They don't have to. Now they don't have to. Now you go and they have different. If you don't know English, motherfucker, just you. You muted, cuz. You muted.
Or I was saying all the extra stuff to cater to them, you ain't got to do no more.
Okay. I don't know if you just heard Dion's last take in which he said we'll never give reparations because white people don't take Black history. They don't.
My nigga.
Woo! Oh my God. Look, before we go, because it's 9:46, man, I forget how much fun it is to do this shit when I'm off. It's like it's too much fun. I've been watching the brother Steve the Stoner, and I see a lot of people they diss him, and I seen him make a post where he said I don't understand why everybody has to come, like I get criticized, they say gay, I'm gay, and the dance because I'm dancing is gay, and all this. It's a lot of hate. And he was saying, y'all worried about what I'm doing dances, but it's really like brothers out here that's foul. Like his brothers really out here killing and robbing and stealing and doing all kinds of negative stuff. And people they want to criticize me because I'm just dancing. And I started thinking about how disregarded Milwaukee is from in other places, right? Like, so I've heard all kinds of professional athletes and I've heard all kinds of actors and actresses diss the shit out of Milwaukee. And I thought, like, okay, is this part of the reason why this hatred that we have? Anytime somebody is doing something, we immediately turn on them and start hating on them. And I don't have a problem with what Steve the Stoner does. I think it's very clever it's the ultimate form of self-promotion and marketing, because at this point I see him just bust up in places, like random places, and white people are like, oh my God, like there's this guy, right? Like, oh, there's this guy. I don't, to drop into the floor, drop it like it's hot is a little new to me for men to do, right? Like I don't, I can't drop it to the floor, and even if I could, I probably wouldn't do that. But I don't think he's doing anything bad. I hear some of the stuff he's talking about in his rhymes. It's not necessarily the most positive thing, but I don't think he represents the city in a negative way. But I think a lot of people, and I even heard Dion say earlier, like, don't nobody give a shit about Milwaukee. Like everybody, I mean, we get this. I heard some basketball players, and ironically, it was, I think, Carmelo Anthony who was saying, nah, y'all got it wrong. Man, Milwaukee is the shit in the summer. Like, nah, man, the restaurants, the lake. And he's like, I know. And it was like, oh, you bullshit. And he was like, no, I'm telling you, go in the summer. It's the shit. I've heard celebrities dissing the city. Like, I mean, people believe that Milwaukee is cold 365 days a year. It's frozen over. They have no idea of the cultural epicenter that we have here in terms of being able to go to Black-owned businesses, being able to go to Black-owned restaurants, being able to eat our food, being able to get a slice of our culture. And people would dismiss it, but there are cities that don't have that. Now, if you go to Chicago, it's there. That's rich. You go to Detroit, it's there. Go to Minneapolis, it ain't there. Go to a lot of major cities around the country. They don't have a Black cultural epicenter. And we have one. But I just thought about, like, when I see people criticize the brothers like, Steve the Stoner and the young brothers who, we were critical of the young brother who's saying, he like a little boy booty every now and then. But the belief is you can't make it in Milwaukee because your own people are the ones that are going to bring you down. So my question to y'all would be, Kamar, what do you think about Steve the Stoner? I mean, you've been in the music game. You've been a rapper. You know how we treat our artists. Outside of Baby Drew and Cuckoo Cal, it's hard for any rap artist here to get any respect. What you think about Steve the Stoner and the city of Milwaukee's image in general?
I don't think it's just him in particular. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, whenever you're doing something, you in the public eye, you know what I mean? It's gonna be people that envy you, you know what I mean? And Black folks nowadays, they always looking for shit to critique, looking for shit about other people to talk about instead of fixing their own shit, making their own shit better. You know what I mean? Because we all do foul shit. So what, he did something you don't like? You know what I mean? You ain't got to talk about it. You ain't got to give it no energy. You ain't got to follow him. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like what he doing or whatever the lifestyle is, you know what I'm saying? Do your thing, family.
Okay. Do you think the city, the thing that kind of cripples us is that we don't support, like, because I'm sure it's people who listen to our show and be like, them niggas don't be knowing what the fuck they talking about. Fuck them. I don't want to hear that shit.
Well,
it don't bother me, but
our city just like any other city. Our city just like any other city. They start supporting you when they see money behind you. When they see the momentum, the money behind you and stuff, they get behind you. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? So you just got to figure out how to make them wheels turn, and they get behind you.
Okay. Now I don't know if Dion's back.
I think the problem is a lot of people try to sit back and wait and hope that people are gonna support them and push them and all that. Because see, you know what I mean? Like you hear a lot of businesses talking about that. Like people's trying to start businesses. My people don't even support me. Well, you know what I mean? You ain't trying hard enough to get out there to the people that will support you. There's levels to this thing.
Okay. Dion, do you rock with Steve the Stoner? I don't know if you. I know you're more.
No.
Okay.
No, I can't. I don't know nothing about what you talking about. But I will tell you this: maybe if people knew a little bit more about Milwaukee, like reading and picking up books, then they'll know that we weren't just Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. You see how I tie everything back to reading, picking up a book, learning about our African American history that we have here. Maybe people be like, it is niggas in Milwaukee. Because I've been places like I've been to Atlanta, Alabama. Shit, I'm going to Memphis this Thursday. Motherfuckers don't really know it's black people in Milwaukee. I had people actually say that out their mouth. I'm like, what? I like, your ass to fuck around and get killed in Milwaukee. Because, you know, I'm murder mill crazy when I go somewhere.
But I think people say the same thing about St. Paul and Minneapolis. They don't say it about Chicago. They don't say it about Detroit. But I think people say that about most northern cities. Like, is black people there? But I mean, you got to think of where we are on the map. We're at the top. We were, like I said, one of the last stops in terms of the Great Migration. And we came into this situation where we were dominated in a city by white people. And they did a job on us for years and years and years to keep us subjugated. I mean, you think about the fact that you really couldn't live above Walnut until 1968, right? Like you think about it, we've been late in terms of how we can actually move, but we've always moved within the city. Like we've had one of the strongest, what I referenced earlier in terms of a cultural epicenter. We've had a very, very strong cultural epicenter for a very long time. We were one of the first, if not the first, to have a Juneteenth Day celebration, right? Like so many things in terms of first for us, for black people, came in this city. So I'm just saying, I think we don't get the credit we deserve on a national level. I mean, we're not the biggest city, obviously. We're a small city, small market. But I think it should be way more pride. I think one thing that hurts us too is that a lot of people from Milwaukee hate Milwaukee, right? Like a lot of people here, like, I hate this city. I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. Or they leave and be like, fuck Milwaukee, I'm never going back. But it's like that with everywhere, because you have people from every city who say, I'm getting the fuck out of here and I'm not coming back. But I just feel like we, as the people who are gonna be here, like myself and others, I think we should be more proud of where we live. I don't, it's not the greatest place in the world, but I don't think it's the worst.
Hell no, it's one of the best places. Shit.
I mean,
I be hearing people from other states talk about, like my guy was talking to him down in Dallas. He was like, if you get a speeding ticket, you can like get him an extra little money where they'll defer it and it won't go on your driving record and this and the other. I know people that stay in Iowa, they be like, if this happened to your car, you got to go through all this. And Milwaukee ain't nothing like that going on. You get a speeding ticket, they might throw it away, and shit, they might not. But you ain't got to try to bribe the police, or not bribe the police, but like tell them, hey, I'll pay a little extra money because y'all ain't going to report it. I mean, to me, how he was breaking it down, I'd be like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck if you report it. It's going to take this $200. I ain't about to give y'all nothing extra. You know, some of the housing situations of other states is a little different in here. You know, I mean, I love Milwaukee. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, I do want to live somewhere else for a little while, but I know I always have home to come back to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm of the mindset that instead of running every time something goes wrong, I try to better the situation where I'm at. So I would like to live better here. Like I want to get more money here. I want to improve my financial situation here, and live better here. Now, going somewhere else, and there's some merit to that, because I truly believe some people need resets. I do believe sometimes the energy in this city can be draining, and if you ain't got the right support, if you ain't with the right people, you may have to leave because it'll suck you dry. But more often than not, when I see somebody leave here and go to another city, so if somebody says, hey man, I moved to Florida and it's so much better, weather aside, why? It's just more opportunity here. Well, what are you doing down there? Well, I'm a mailman. Well, they have mailmen here. But more often than not, when that person was here, you couldn't get them to go apply for a position as a mail person.
Yeah, you're right.
A person say, hey man, I moved to Texas and I'm driving a truck. And I'm like, well, you know, they got trucks here, right? You know, I got a partner I moved to a different state and I'm a principal. And it's so much better here than Milwaukee, but they have principals here. And you were on the track to be one here, but you couldn't get right. So it wasn't this place, it was you. I think we blame people all the time for things that are our fault. You know, it's just like I'm a close on this one, as they say in the church. I'm a close on this one. I see people giving advice on social media they give relationship advice who aren't in relationships. How is that possible? I see people down marriage on social media who've never been married. I was reading a post the other night about a woman saying, yeah, you motherfuckers, husbands and wives always got to ask for permission. Fuck that. That's why I would never get married. And da, 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 da. And I'm like, you've never been married. How can you give advice on something you've never experienced? Like, and obviously, you haven't met someone that made you want to compromise with them, because that's what it's really about in a relationship. As a husband or as a wife, you need to respect your partner. So by your wife saying, hey, baby, I'm about to go over here and eat, is that cool? I don't think she's asking for permission per se, as opposed to just saying, I'm going to let you know where I'm going to be. And as a husband, you say, hey, baby, I was going to run up here with the fellas and have a drink. I'm not really asking your permission. I'm just telling you where I'm going to be. It's called mutual respect. But we got a lot of people who are miserable, so they want other people to be miserable as well. So they give advice about things they're not qualified to give advice on. And it's a lot of that with black men and black women in relationships. And don't you ever put that word submit in the air. Black women go to kung fu karate kicking without understanding it has nothing to do with me putting my foot on your neck. You know, it has nothing to do with you becoming a slave or a person who has no free will. It's about you saying there's something bigger than me, and that is we. I don't know if people understand that. It's we. It's not just about me. I submit to the fact that this is bigger than just me. Not that I submit to you and you are now my master. But if you don't ever get in that situation, you'll never get that understanding. So I see a lot of people out here putting that out there. And I just think it's funny every time I'm on Facebook and I see a lot of lonely, black, bitter women criticizing men, a lot of brothers with mommy issues criticizing black women, a lot of lonely people who are bitter because they're lonely, criticizing somebody else who has somebody. I see this all the time. And you don't see me comment on these posts because I sit there and laugh out loud when I'm by myself. Like, okay. So let me get this straight. I'm having issues in my relationship. So I go and talk to one of my friends who ain't in no relationship about it. How is that possible? Because I can't say, dog, what would you do? Well, he can't tell you anything. He doesn't have a relationship. So I just think that's one of those things with communication that we need to get over. We need to stop making assumptions. But more importantly, we need to get over ourselves, man. A lot of us, we are our biggest enemy. Like we're the biggest trip. Like we trip on everybody else because we can't get over ourselves. Instead of us saying, hey, man, I wish I met somebody who I cared about enough to make me want to, settle down and be on one accord with. Instead of saying that, we'd be like, fuck that. That ain't for me. It's just your bitterness speaking. That's all. I just want to put that out there. I don't know if one of y'all wanted to chime in on that. But I notice it a lot, and I laugh every time I see it. And it's funny because usually the person who's saying the most crazy things is the person who doesn't have anything, right? Like it's say hurt people. You muted, Kamar.
Right. And they probably suck at relationships too. You know what I'm saying? That's why they in a relationship and they bitter. Probably it's a lot that could be going on. It's probably a little narcissism with themselves. You know what I mean? Is the reason why they can't be in one. And it's silly to ask somebody who ain't in one some advice because they can't empathize with you either.
Like Dion said, yeah, they can't empathize with you, right? They don't understand you, right? But Kamar, I think the bigger thing here is, and I tell people this all the time, if you get into it with everybody, if everywhere you go, there's a situation, if there's drama everywhere you go, it's probably you. You got to stop saying it's somebody else's fault all the time. I hate to hear somebody say, I ain't met nobody who was worth me. Really? Well, that's why you failed. You are overestimating your value. I ain't met nobody worth me yet. Like
that be them lonely, bitter ass, I ain't gonna call them the B words, but
please don't.
That be them lonely, bitter ass women though. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I definitely
brothers too, because it's a lot of brothers who done had their heart broke. Like thugs.
You know what though? I don't see too many lonely. I don't see too many bitter men as I do women. I really don't. I might hear a nigga say something here and there, but with the women, it just be a barrage. And they believe in sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? So they come at you as a conglomerate. It might be one or two niggas. And I just be, I don't know. I'm glad. Like I don't even know what it is to have your heart broke, because if you've been out, like I like now that I'm older, I don't fuck off like I used to. But when I was younger, I fucking off, and I'd be like, shit, if you gave a nigga some pussy, I ain't gonna trip about that shit. You know what I'm saying? You was fucking before I met you. You feel what I'm saying? So, I don't feel betrayed or nothing like that. Now if you continue doing it, you know what I'm saying? That's something different. But I don't think I just be matching the energy with the women though. But I love me some black women. Oh my God. I ain't never had none but a black woman. I wasn't fortunate enough to go out of school to college and all that. So I never slept with a white woman. Wow. I never slept with a white woman, a Mexican, an Asian, or nothing. I have only had black women. You know what I'm saying?
Did you just take a shot at me? Yeah,
no, I'm just saying. I'm just saying though.
I'm feeling a lot of heat coming from the
I ain't
hey,
had.
Don't be throwing elbows. He be throwing elbows to the side and shit.
I love my black women though. So
man, there's some brothers who ain't went to college that had white women. You know that, right? Like
I ain't even had one off 35th Street, man.
All right, man.
I guess I don't put that energy out, but I wouldn't want to sleep one of them devils anyway. So I think me myself personally, as far as like with that, I always have been. Now that I'm older, it's not as bad. But when I was younger, I was afraid of white women. So my grandfather, he was born in 1925 in Arkansas. He was a sharecropper. So he told me, and that's where a lot of my belief system, because like when I was in prison, they teach us about belief systems and stuff like that. But my belief system of white, period, stemmed from him. Now, was he wrong about him? No. But this goes back to if somebody don't teach you the correct thing about ethnic of people, you have biases towards them. Now, I don't think he was wrong, none of what he said about him. To me, he's spot on the head with the motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So that always kept me, like when I first moved up here, it was odd to see black people with white people, because in Chicago, it wasn't like that. Because, I went to Hamilton with Bulls. So I'm seeing white people, black people kicking it, white people and black people dating and stuff like that.
I am almost positive there's some interracial couples in Chicago.
Yeah, I
I'm
grew up on the South Side. It was few and far in between.
Okay.
You might have seen. I've seen what they call the $5 Indian, where it was a white person and they said it was native, but they was white and she was drunk and fucked up in the face and be dating somebody and he drunk and all that. As far as just seeing, as I use this word, upscale white, I didn't too much have interaction with them type of people.
And we didn't have a lot of that on the north side a long time ago either. And we still don't see that many interracial couples, but I know they exist. I wanted to say this before we close too. Because Dion it's funny that how conversations flow. He was talking about letting white people know about us, and this is where we get in with letting white people in and oh, he's cool and he's invited to the cookout. I seen Conan O'Brien make a comment last night on the Oscars, I believe, where he said we halfway through the show and now it's time for Kendrick Lamar to come out and call Drake a pedophile. And people were in a rage about it. People were upset. They were saying like that's out of order. Because remember when I told y'all white people saw that halftime show and we understood the messages. We understood the nuances. we understood the nuance for the most part. We understood the nuances of Sam Jackson being Uncle Sam and telling Kendrick, if you want to really be accepted by America as a black man, you got to tone it down. You have to be a little bit more calm, cool, and collective. Learn how to play the game. That was a message. We understood the message of even the song "Not Like Us" is explaining to Drake that foundational black Americans are different from everybody else. And if you're a tether or if you're not from our communities and didn't grow up the way we grew up, you really don't understand this. You're not like us. So we understood that. But the only thing white people heard was pedophile, 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 pedophile. Even though Kendrick never said pedophile one time. He didn't call him a pedophile. What he said was, I heard you like him young, which could mean anything. That could mean you like 20-year-olds, in which case wouldn't make you a pedophile. I know a lot of brothers who are of our age, who like young women. And we say to them, oh, he like them young. That doesn't mean he's a pedophile. That means he like younger women, right? There's an assumption there. And anytime we let white people hear or bear witness to our culture, to how we express ourselves, to how we move and groove, then there becomes a misinterpretation or bastardization or an all-out theft of said cultural nuance, right? And this is why I'm not concerned about white people getting to know me. I'm not concerned about them knowing my history and being able to tell me who Phyllis Wheatley was and saying Maya Angelou poems and all this kind of stuff. Not really concerned about that. Because I know that no matter how hard they tried, they would never be able to understand it in the first place. They could read all the books they want about slavery, but if you tried to explain what a lot of people define as post-traumatic slave syndrome, they could never comprehend it. Therefore, they wouldn't be able to empathize with you. If we talked about the Great Migration and why it happened and how it ended up for us, you could explain it to them. They could learn the numbers, but they can never understand it. Therefore, they wouldn't be able to empathize. Therefore, no changes would be made. That's why it's more important for us to focus on us. Right. That's why it's more important for us to be focused on us. That's why the delineation movement is so important, because it's one of the first times in a very long time since the Black Power movement that we said, hey, man, us, united struggle. That's what us stands for. Us. Right. Okay. So Ewok said he says certified pedophile, but he didn't call Drake a pedophile, though. I didn't even hear him say pedophile during the show. Maybe he did say certified pedophile.
Hey, let me say one thing before you close out. I'm not familiar if you know what happened between Jasmine Crockett and Nasty Grace, but Jasmine Crockett said child, like C-H-I-L-E, like child, and then, like black people use that, as dialect to communicate with one another, it's like a down south slang. So if that white woman she said, I'm not a child, but she wasn't calling her child.
Exactly.
She was saying child. So if that white woman knew a little bit more about black people, she wouldn't have took offense to that. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I don't think she cared. I don't think she cared.
You could be right.
And I don't think it would have made a difference anyways. I don't think it would have made a difference anyways, because for you to be that petty shows me that you already had your mind made up anyways. Now, Ernest, you're saying he said certified pedophile in reference to certified, the album, the name of Drake's album. Certified, what did he say? Certified lover boy, certified pedophile. I didn't hear him say it. Maybe he did. I didn't hear him say, Drake, you're a pedophile. I thought what Conan did was just another example of white people taking one little thing and running left with it. And that's why we need to keep it to ourselves. Just like my brother just said, she was offended because she said child. So I'm not a child. That's one little nuance that you take and head towards the carpet with it. Like, that's why I'd rather not talk to him and try to share. If you notice, we don't have trolls. All of a sudden, the trolls in the People's News Network have stopped. You know, you don't see it as much, right? And there was a conversation in which I was approached to say, hey, make me an admin in the group. And I'm like, what? Why would I ever make a outwardly known racist person an admin in the People's News Network? That's all I had to do to get rid of them, is to show them that I don't play into your hands and I don't play against my own people. And it's not important to me that you're not in the group, because we don't need you in there trolling anyways. So I fixed that. Orlando Owens is checking in, but you're checking in too late. Shane B 1986. He said, all right, people. My brother, I don't know how long you've been listening, but check out the show. We'll be back Wednesday. Kamar, you got anything big coming up this week?
Nah. Just come on up to the House of Vitality and build your immune system. Come on down.
That's what's up. Dion said he's gonna be going to Memphis this weekend, but that's
as a matter of fact, I do.
Be out in M-Town.
What you say, Kamar?
No, I was just finna say, I do Saturday. I got a restaurant from Madison, a vegan restaurant from Madison, coming to the Sherman Phoenix to do a pop-up. They're called Just Veggies. Like, they be popping like at all the different vegan events that be happening here in Milwaukee when they come down. They got a huge following. So we're looking forward to be a big day Saturday.
Okay.
If you vegan or interested in vegan food, come on down.
Okay. Lions King, my brother, how you doing, D? Nice. He says, look, man, I will be back Wednesday. I'm feeling a lot better. Like I said, I had an old man moment last week where my body said, hey man, sit your old ass down. And I did. And so we good. But we'll be back Wednesday unless something else falls on me, unless it's another health calamity, and then I just be sitting upstairs looking old. But other than that, we'll be back Wednesday, man. I think the most important part of this is we have to be able to think for ourselves, and we have to be able to have conversations amongst ourselves without it going into chaos, without us calling each other out our names, without us disrespecting each other. You know, if you are challenged, if you come up with, and I know in your mind, you the greatest. I know you think I'm an intellectual, I'm smart, I'm a philosopher. But if somebody challenges you, don't take it personal. Go and do the research and figure out where you were right and where you were wrong at. But just understand you ain't always right and you ain't always wrong. And I don't know if people can really grasp that concept. We all have opinions and we all have perspectives and we all have points of view. Some of them are cool, some of them ain't. As long as you can admit it. I'll be the first to admit I don't know everything. I'm not always right. But when I'm not right and when I am wrong, I'm willing to accept it and say, well, sometimes I'm wrong and I say I know I'm wrong, but it is what it is. That's just how it is, right? Like, hey, I'm an asshole in that way. But the majority of the time, I'm trying to do something that's productive, that involves integrity, and something that Black people, our foundational Black American brothers and sisters, can benefit from. That is how I identify. I'm not really concerned about any other community. I'm not concerned about Ukraine. I'm not concerned about the Dominican Republic. I'm not concerned about Native Africa. I'm concerned about foundational Black Americans, and I'm concerned about the state of our community. And attached to that is the fact that I'm always trying to do something. Every day, I try to do something to help in our community, whether you can see it or not. I don't have to put it all on Facebook. Because if I ever got to the point where my criticism of the community outweigh my contribution to it, then I'd just be another coon. I see y'all Wednesday, man. Peace and love. Keep your head on the swivel. Shout out to Dion. Shout out to Ewok. Shout out to West Coast Fred. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, everybody who called, Mama Jenkins. I see y'all Wednesday, man. Peace and love.
All right, man. Be healthy, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.